Hi, everybody. My name is Lindsay, and I'm a Bravoholic.
You're preaching to the choir. Bravo, bravo, bravo.
Honey, you have to stop saying that.
Hi, I'm Thomas Norman, and I'm a Bravoholic.
Well, welcome back, addicts, and welcome back, Thomas, to Bravoholics Anonymous. It's amazing to have you here. Before we do a deep dive into the complete first season of The Valley, and this episode is going to be a doozy. It's probably going to be the longest one we've ever had. I want to talk about what we saw on The Valley Season 2 premiere red carpet. I've got some audio clips, and it kind of shines light into where our characters from the Valley are headed into this new season. And it seems a little dark.
How do you feel about Jack seeking help, going to therapy, and trying to be a good dad?
Listen, I want him to get help more than anybody else, obviously, but I really, is he over here? I'm like scared. I'm like, ew, is he around? Okay, he's right over there. Okay. I just, a lot of trust has been lost between us. And I want him to get help more than anybody else in this entire world. And I hope that he really is going to stick to it and change. But there's a lot of things that I haven't seen even throughout all this. So, working on it. Co-parenting is our most important thing. He loves his son. I know that. Cruz is the most important thing for both of us. Co-parenting is the most important thing. Definitely proud of him for trying this. I just hope I hope it's not for show. Let me just say that. I hope it's real.
And he told us he feels bad and you deserve so much better. So how are you moving forward, and are you open to dating yet?
Yeah, yes and yes. I agree to what he said, and I agree to, yeah. I mean, I really don't know what to say at this point, because I feel like yes. Yeah, it's just like, it's hard. I definitely know I deserve better, and I am ready to hopefully have a connection, get the butterflies again, do all that stuff again. Like, that would be amazing, It's just like, it's weird. It's a weird position to be in, but I'm like, I feel like I moved past that part of my life. Like, for sure.
This show was not shot in real time. It was a year ago. So I'm in a very, very different place. The dynamics have shifted. The relationships have shifted. Everything is completely different. I've worked super hard to get to this point. I'm actually at about 132 days sober. Really proud of myself. I've worked extremely hard to get here. But I did watch the episode. I decided to take some ownership and see how I acted. And I gotta be honest, I started crying the first 5 minutes in. I don't know who that person is. It was a shell of a human being. I was disgusted. I look sick. I look angry. I look depressed. I just don't know who that person is. It was a very, very, very tough year for me. Very tough year. I've gone through a divorce. I've gone through rehab twice. I've gone through AA, therapy, losing friends, bipolar, PTSD, OCD, losing my house, like almost losing my child. Like, I can't, all these things right here. I mean, the fact that I'm still here right now after going through all that, it says a lot. It really does, because a lot of guys I know that have gone through it, I wouldn't be here right now. This is my kid. He's my sole force, my driving force to being here today. That little boy is my angel. I love him more than anything in the world. And, when I was at my darkest moment, which was a lot, there was times I just didn't want to be here. I didn't want to be here. I want to throw in the towel and be like, nobody will care if I'm gone. I've literally destroyed a lot of relationships, friendships. I've destroyed my marriage. Who cares? Let's just go. We'll call it a day. You know what I'm saying? But then I'm like, listen, my son's going to grow up one day, and he's going to not have a father. And I just could not be that selfish and be that. I would hurt more people, I think, than anything else. And I just really, really want my son grow up one day knowing that his dad had a problem, and he fixed it, and he rose above, and he's a good man now.
Michelle, how are things going between you and Jesse?
The question everybody wants to know. It's not going well. I really try to limit any conversations. You know, if I have to talk to him about our daughter, then I will, but that's as far as it goes.
So how is co-parenting going?
It's a struggle. It's very difficult, but, you know, I'm trying my best. That's all I can do, and I'm trying to be the best mother, so that's what I'm doing.
You know, we're still nowhere close to the divorce, and it has its highs and lows. I was with her this morning doing a orientation for Isabella's kindergarten, and it seemed fine. But you know, she certainly has her experience and her truth, and I have my experience and my truth, and I would never invalidate her experience and get in this tit for tat thing with her. But it's difficult, you know. It's difficult day to day, and as you see the season unfold, you'll see some very high highs, especially towards the end, especially on our trip to Hawaii, and you'll see some very low lows, like our trip to Santa Barbara, which did not end well.
All right, how was it joining the cast for season 2?
It was a big decision to make, and at the end of the day, I just wanted to be around Michelle as much as, you know, we were used to, and, you know, there was some of that being with people that we might normally not hang out with, like Jesse, you know, going to Hawaii or whatnot. But, you know, I did my best to keep the peace and try to create a dynamic between her and Jesse and honestly everybody, but really between her and Jesse to try to help with this co-parenting thing.
And the first time I met him, we put together a little birthday party for Isabella for her fourth birthday, which her fifth is next week. So happy birthday on premiere day for Isabella. I decided if I was going to invite Michelle, I would invite the boyfriend as well, so the four of us could all meet. And you know, he came into the Hornets nest with all the guys, and you know, I have to give him credit. And you'll see throughout the course of the season, we had a lot of conversations while filming, which kind of led to this dynamic conversation in Hawaii, just the two of us, where I talked about their relationship and when it started physically and or emotionally, more importantly, the timeline of that, as well as my boundaries for being a father and his, you know, what his thoughts were on being a caretaker of my daughter. And you'll see that play out, and you'll see, you know, the Hawaii trip was really good for
All right,
the three
great.
of us.
I think that really provides us some insight as to where the cast is headed in season 2. There's so much to talk about with my friend Thomas on season 1. So let's dive into it. So we're going to take you all the way through season 1. We're going to rank our favorite cast members. And then we are going to watch the trailer for season 2 and react to it. And then we'll leave you at the doorstep of season 2 tonight so you can check out the new episode, the season premiere of The Valley. Let's get into it. Well, I'm excited. We're here to talk about The Valley, season 1. Mm-hmm. And I did a rewatch again. I rewatched the whole season.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I watched it when it came out, and then I wanted to watch it again before we talked, because I felt like if the second time I watched it, there was a lot more nuance. Since I knew where things were going, there was way more to pick up on, for sure. But this was your first time watching it.
This is my first. I now know why your podcast is called Bravoholics, because this was my first, my toe dip into the pool of Bravo, and I get it. I get why people get obsessed. There were a couple points where I was like, I texted you and I was like, I don't know if this is for me. And then I just kept watching and I was like, yeah, I can't look away.
Even if they come from like a legacy show, like a Vanderpump or Jax did House of Villains or whatever, you worry about the playing field being uneven and like people self-producing. I think that was a big argument online when people saw Sheena and Lala trying to butt their way onto the show and being like, they got into trouble for self-producing and ruining Vanderpump. They're going to do it again. And there's going to be like an uneven playing field of reality TV experience. But I still think that this first season was really successful, even with Jax trying to do stupid producing things because he thought he was Mr. Producer. I think I think it contributed because the group itself is like a real friend group. It's an original friend group.
Can you fill me in? Who of these people were on Vanderpump Rules?
So Jax was on Vanderpump Rules. Brittany was on Vanderpump Rules because that's Jax's wife.
Yeah.
They met on the show and they got married on Vanderpump.
Okay.
And they had their own spin-off Bravo show where they go to Kentucky, where Brittany's from.
Okay.
And like meet her family and stuff. Kristen Doty is from Vanderpump Rules.
Okay.
And she got she got kicked off the show. She got canceled early pandemic, and now she's back full force.
Interesting. Yeah, I know that was that part where she talked about how she got canceled for being racist.
Yeah, it had to do with like, there was another cast member on the show named Faith, I should say, and her and there was like a video that was released early pandemic of like a theft or something that happened. And like Stassi and Kristen were like drunk and like on a live feed, or I don't know what they were doing, but I think they were on a TikTok live or like an Instagram live, because it was like everyone was just on Zooms and stuff at this time. And they were like, no, it's Faith. And they were drinking and like saying, this is their Faith and blah, blah. And so they like were calling out this girl and saying that it was her. Faith started by saying like, you guys are racist. Just because it's a black woman doesn't mean it's me, blah, blah, blah. And so they got into all sorts of trouble and they got canceled. Stassi's podcast got wiped from Apple.
Oh my God.
And like dropped off of the hosting platforms. It was pretty major. It was kind of a bummer that they didn't get any of that on camera, because that's like some real drama. And I always talk about this stuff. Instead of canceling these questionable reality stars, I want a camera on them and I want to watch them go through it all on camera. I want to watch them learn and grow and do whatever on camera. Mm-hmm. No one said that like Kristen Doty and Stassi were like, examples for everyone to follow.
Right. They're not role models. I wonder if she used the same coach as Jesse and Michelle.
That coach was really...
I have thoughts about that.
He was kind of hot. I mean, he was asking the right questions.
Okay.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. It wasn't a therapist, that's for sure. It was like...
Yeah.
It was like what Jesse wanted, I'm sure.
Yeah. He like told him to like go on an ayahuasca trip. I'm like, all right. Well,
let's start with like first impressions though. When in the first episode, you were meeting like the people on the show. Mm-hmm. When you saw Jax and Brittany, what did you think of them?
I thought I knew of Jax because I knew a little bit about Vanderpump, because you took me a couple times to Pump, and I never went to Sir. And then I just heard that name, Jax, before, and I was like, oh yeah. So my first impression of him was that he had no upper lip, and that it's so far from his nose that he needs a mustache.
And he does have one.
Right.
So
yeah. So that was smart. That was my first impression, was that, oh man, I wonder like if he's
gotten work done. So I'm happy he didn't go get some big fake lips, because he's had his nose done a few times.
Oh yeah. They said that he had a nose job like 3 times. That's so horrible though. That was my first impression, but I was like, I want to know what he looks like without it. And that he was, when I later found out that he was like on drugs the whole time, you could tell.
You could tell. He's definitely had some moments. I think Seth Rogen was in an interview recently promoting his new show, and said he recently binge watched Vanderpump Rules, and the whole time he was watching it, he was like, I'm pretty sure this guy's on coke. And then like when he finished the show, the news broke that Jason Couchy, or Jax, was like talking about how he was going to rehab for cocaine and stuff. And he's like, I knew it.
Yeah. And Brittany, I'm obsessed with her accent. I can't stop repeating her when I'm watching. Like, you're just like, we finally had to have date night. Like, I just, every time.
Mom, we had date night.
Fuck you, Jax. Like, I can't stop. So yeah, I love her.
She's so sweet. She's so wholesome. She was a Hooters girl.
Oh, nice.
But they actually, when you lived in LA, they live like 3 blocks, I would say, west in like on the cusp of Valley Village, Sherman Oaks.
No way.
From where you lived. So they're right in your neighborhood.
Isn't that wild that like we just like lived among them? I never ran into it. I never saw any of them, but like that's so cool. Yeah,
probably because they're like vampires and they just go out at night, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And you were the opposite, and you're the complete opposite. Yeah. Not a surprise. But they also like moved out to the Valley right around the time that you left LA. So you might have just missed each other.
Okay. What was the best celebrity sighting you ever saw? Like out in the wild?
Out in the wild?
Like not like on set or something or just like at an event, but just like at a grocery store.
I've had some really amazing ones. Not including like the red carpet and film festival stuff that I've done. Out in the wild, the coolest I've seen were once I saw Jane Lynch standing on the corner of the Studio City Farmers Market in a tracksuit, like literally in...
Sue Sylvester?
Yeah, that was pretty major, and she's so tall. I did like a double take.
Mm-hmm.
Another one at the same farmers market, I saw Vanessa Hudgens.
Oh, that's very LA, yeah.
Yeah, going to buy flowers, so I thought that was cool. I've seen like literally Thomas. I saw Alicia Silverstone and her daughter at the Hollywood Farmers Market. Oh. It was like Cher. Number 1 and Mini Cher walking through the farmer's market. They looked great. I've seen these are just like right off the top of my head. Yeah. I'm sure I'm going to go to bed later and be like, oh, I should have told the story about this. Oh, well, the first day I moved to LA, Jason Bateman was leaning on my parking meter and I had to ask him to move to pay the meter in Beverly Hills.
Was he nice about it?
Well, I was kind of weird I was trying to be funny, and I pulled up and parked my car. His kids and his wife were in the toy shop inside, and I was like, and so I walked over to the parking meter, and I was with my boyfriend at the time. I said, "Hey, look, it's Jason Bateman leaning on my parking meter," and then he just kind of rolled his eyes and walked away. Doesn't matter. I worked with him on 2 shows after that. Did you go on to work with him? Yeah, on 2 different shows, and he didn't remember, so it just doesn't matter.
Oh, you should have brought it up. Mine.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have put it into the ether.
Mine was one of my first sexual awakenings. I saw him at Trader Joe's in Studio City.
Who?
Ricky Ullman, Phil of the Future. Obsessed. He was pretty short.
We saw Brittany Snow at the same Trader Joe's in Studio City.
And I saw someone I went to college with who my first boyfriend was his ex. And he sat me down one time and was like, how dare you? You know that he and I are meant to be. And like gave me this whole like talking to. And then...
Because you saw him?
No. Sorry. Wait. So back in college, he dated this guy and then they broke up. And then I started dating that guy. And then he was like, how dare you? Like, yeah, we broke up, but like, we're endgame. And I was like, okay.
We're endgame? Yeah. That's a little crazy.
Like,
That's a little crazy.
Okay. And so then that guy broke up with me. And then that night was with the other guy. So basically, this guy that I'm like not a huge fan of. And he saw me at Trader Joe's and was like, oh my God, no way. And I was like, oh, we're not like friends. And then I saw Phil of the Future, and then everything was better.
And then it was all worth it.
Yeah.
Well, the first time I saw Brittany and Jax on the show, I was kind of surprised because Brittany's like first scene, she's talking about how she got liposuction done on her gobbler.
Oh yeah, I want that.
Or her chin. And we see footage of her and Jax raising their kid. And I just thought, like, Jax thinks he's Mr. Producer, like Whitney on Southern Charm or Kyle on Summer House. And he's trying to play this role. And I expect him to play this role because he's just like he's a narcissist. So he's very self-important. And he always wants to like make sure you know that he has the power. That's what he's always trying to demonstrate to people.
I think he did refer to himself in third person a couple times this season. He's like, well, yeah, but, you know, she's married Jax Taylor, so I think she knows what she's getting into. Well, I was like that. Oh, my God.
Oh, it's so toxic. It's so toxic. Yeah. So we see Brittany is party planning, and, like, there was a minute coming out of the pandemic when she got really into, like, party planning, and she was posting all these stories of, like, these themed parties that she was putting on for people. So it made sense that they put this on the show, and it was like state fair themed for Janet's baby shower.
It took a really great party.
Yeah, it's a cute theme for sure. Mm-hmm. And, not everyone showed up in costume, so that's worth noting for future conversations. But
Yes.
Brittany and Jax, everyone has expected their relationship to fail, so I was pleasantly surprised to see that they were still functioning and raising this kid together at the beginning of the season.
Oh, I was going to say, wait, what? How long were they together?
Like 9 years. Oh, the total relationship, because if you're listening to this, that it didn't work out. Their total relationship was like 9 years.
Okay.
That's pretty long to survive with Jax.
Yeah. With Jax Taylor.
Nobody thought it would go that far. So we meet Kristen's new boyfriend, Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Their starting was at a wedding, just like my future start.
I think you're going to have
everyone meets people at weddings. This is my chance.
It's your chance to have a complicated baby daddy long distance relationship.
No. No. They have sex behind a barn at the wedding.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and then they're inseparable since. He lives in Colorado and he has acres of land, and his business is that he's starting like a festival grounds. So he's developing these acres of land into a festival ground thing.
Like a Fire Fest thing?
Kind of, like you could come in with your festival and you could rent the space and host a festival there.
Oh, okay. That's cool, actually.
Yeah. And that seems like actually a decent business plan, especially in Colorado. Like there's a cool art scene. There's lots of people into music and stuff. So seems neat. Seems like a good idea. And he's investing in land. He's ultimately owning land and putting a couple bathrooms and electrical hookups on it. So, how hard could that be, right?
Totally. I have no idea.
Totally. And then Kristen shares that they are starting to try to have a baby and that Luke's going to spend the summer there. So she's moving into a different apartment. And of course, something I would love to get your take on is like, Kristen's a pretty messy person.
Mm-hmm. Messy.
Like emotional.
Oh, I thought you meant messy, like in her apartment.
That too. But because Tom Sandoval used to talk about, how messy she was. And then they would be like, you're messy. I'm not messy. And they would fight about that. But relationship wise, messy. We hear that she was like living with another guy, and then they broke up like 5 times, and then he finally kicked her out.
And like convinced her to sell her house or something?
Or like, yeah, I don't know. It was messy. It's messy. And then she met Luke at a wedding, and now she's planning a baby with him. So I was kind of surprised by that, but also not surprised.
I asked my sister, I was like halfway through the season. She's a diehard Vanderpump. Do you guys have names? Bumpers?
No, it's not like pop stars. I don't think there's really names for it. We're Bravoholics.
Bravoholics, thank you. That's right.
Yeah.
So my sister is a Bravoholic, and I was like, why do these people hate Kristen so much? Like, was she a mess on Vanderpump? Because I'm kind of on her side. She was like, no, yeah, she's the worst.
But she really isn't the worst.
I was going to ask how you like from her time on Vanderpump. Do you not enjoy her before this show?
No, I love her. Here's the thing about Kristen. Kristen is a really good reality TV star because she will go marching into the room and say and do the hard thing. Mm-hmm. She, like, historically, there's this great scene of her on Vanderpump that I think is like core Kristen, and it's when Tom Sandoval breaks up with Kristen and starts dating Ariana, and Ariana moves into their old apartment. And Kristen comes back to get her mail, and she wears a really hot little slinky green dress in broad daylight and like shows up in this little dress with just Tom there. And Tom invites the other Tom over to be like, not like literally like a chaperone. And she's in this hot little green dress, and she's got makeup on, and like she's all done up to come get the mail, and she like picks a fight with him in the apartment.
That's fun.
It's really fun. I think that's core Kristen. Like, she'll go in and do the scene, and like she is a fan of revenge. She's a real one, and she feels hard. And I think the problem that she's faced in the past is, one, on Vanderpump, her and Lisa butt heads a lot, and Lisa always sides with the toxic men and makes the toxic men look good, and it will blame women for stuff. So while Kristen was getting gaslit by her boyfriend or by her ex and was making sloppy mistakes and dating like James Kennedy, who was like a drunk and being abusive and all this stuff. She's reacting to all of it. Mm-hmm. And the things she's saying aren't necessarily false, but she's doing it so hysterically that if someone paints her in a light of look at crazy Kristen, everyone's going to be like, yeah, Kristen is crazy and jump on that bandwagon. So we're going to see it on this season too. There's a lot where Kristen's like vocalizing things that people are saying to her, and then those other people aren't owning up to actually saying it to her. They're like almost gaslighting her like she's crazy.
Yeah.
And we see it with like Zach does a little bit of it. Janet does it for sure. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of like she's a magnifying glass.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm a Kristen fan because she's done some wild stuff. Like one time there was a rumor that someone cheated on someone with a girl in Miami, and she DM'd and found the girl and then flew her to LA and brought her into the restaurant to confront and confirm that they had sex.
That's amazing.
And then she got on a fight on the patio and they suspended her from working at SUR. And like, these are the things that this is why she's meant to be where she is.
Uh-huh. That's awesome.
I mean, do I think she should be having and raising a child? Maybe not sure.
Many of these people.
Literally all of these people. Like Michelle and Jesse's kid. Let's talk about Michelle and Jesse.
These kids in general, like there was one episode, I forgot which one it was. They were at the county fair, and it was the three guys just like going to town talking about their sex lives, and their kids were just like in the strollers, like just like either A, listening to all of it, or B, just sitting in strollers at the county fair while they're just like stopped in the middle of it. I'm like, these poor children.
Oh yeah.
What this show became is like, if any of their kids are like, why did you guys get a divorce? Well, here you go, sweetie. There's a 12-hour home video about why we got a divorce. It's called The Valley Season 1.
It's literally so true. I think that's like towards the end of the season. And the three of them are standing at the LA County Fair. The kids are in the strollers, and there's a cameraman I picture right in front of them filming them. Yeah. And they're talking about how their marriages are failing.
Yeah, and like I'm sure throughout the taping, the kids are like, "I'm hungry," and they had to like pause and be like, "Okay, pause, everyone."
No, they didn't pause. They didn't pause because there's a episode that came out when Jesse and Michelle filed their divorce and Brittany and Jax announced their separation. They put on an extra bonus episode that you can find on Peacock.
Oh, okay.
And it's uncensored. And there's literally a scene where Michelle goes to their old home to meet Jesse and to talk about confirm the arrangements they have for custody on camera. And their daughter is eating in the kitchen with each other in the living room. And then the little girl comes out and is like, "Mom, I need more peanut butter," or something like that.
I need more barbecue sauce.
Yeah, that's it. And she's like, "1 second, honey. No, you cannot." Yeah. Michelle does keep her composure well, though, with him. He is so patronizing. Like, when he sits down, he's like, "Okay, it's going to be 2 days on and 2 days off." I'm like, yeah, right. It's going to last 1 month. And then this guy is not going to be looking to pick up his daughter every 2 days. My God.
No, especially that man.
I know. It's just, ugh. We met Michelle and Jesse. And at first, my first initial meet of them in the pilot, I was like, oh, I think I'm really going to like this couple. They're like partners in real estate and partners in life. Mm-hmm. And they live near the Chateau Marmont, and I'm going there for lunch tomorrow. I love the Chateau Marmont. And I just think I was like, oh, they're chic. They're not even in the valley. They live on the hill. It's close enough.
Right. I know that was like, oh, point for them that they're la-di-da. I don't actually live in the valley.
I kind of liked it because it was like a juxtaposition thing. Like in the pilot, there was like this status thing like, oh, we don't actually live in the valley. I'll never live in the valley.
Yeah. Yeah, my first impression of them was similar. I was like, oh, wow, they seem really cute. And yeah, a little bougie, but like, whatever. They seem great.
And Michelle's pretty. And I was like, oh, and she's a go-getter. Like, I like her.
They quickly became my least favorite couple.
Yeah.
Really, really quickly.
Literally. There's only one person that I don't like more than them. And we'll get to that when we rank our favorite cast members. Great. They're at the end for me. Mm-hmm. But I was surprised. In the beginning, I thought I liked them. Okay. What about Jasmine? She was on The Bachelor.
Yeah, so I knew of Jasmine because she was... I don't remember how far she got or even whose season she was on, but I was like, I know this person. She was on The Bachelor.
What season was she on?
I don't know.
Oh my God, it's Nick Viall's season.
Yeah. I would say it was a while ago.
Oh my God, I hope she goes on his podcast at some point to promote The Valley season 2.
I mean, I don't think it went well for them.
No, I don't either, but I would still like to hear them do an interview on his podcast. I think that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I kind of felt whatever about her, but as the season went on, I continued to feel whatever / negative feelings about her.
And then Janet and Jason. We first meet them and they're 3 months out from having a baby. Mm-hmm. And Jason is the worst kind of lawyer on the planet. Worse than a criminal defense lawyer.
Yeah. As soon as he voluntarily gave the information that he was a workers' comp lawyer on the corporate side, maybe Janet probably bragged about that. I knew that he was the worst kind of person ever. And,
yes.
The fact that she bragged about it, I was like, ooh, okay, this is strike one.
Big strike right off the bat.
Big strike right off the bat. The one thing I do like about her is that she does own the countertop ice maker that I almost purchased at Costco the other day. So she has good taste. But other than that, not the biggest fan.
I thought they were really interesting. I had no expectations meeting them where the season would go. I knew nothing about them. But when I heard that he was, a workers' comp on the corporate side lawyer, I was like, I literally booed and hissed him because I feel like that's literally the devil.
It's a shame because he is the best looking one. Like aesthetically, he's very good looking. And it's a waste. Yeah,
right off the initial bat, he's the most good looking, but Danny and Nia, I mean, I think they're the most attractive and most emotionally attractive people on the planet.
Yeah.
And I don't care if Danny's 5'2". Like, he seems like he's way more of a human than anybody else on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I never watched iCarly, but as soon as that picture popped up, I was like, oh, love that he was on iCarly.
I loved it too. I loved it too.
And now you probably know me from my voice acting work. And I was like, I mean, probably not, but okay.
It was funny. It was a funny little reel. And he did he's in his little sound booth and he does zombie noise and army guy noise, which is so real. It's like video game.
Very much
stuff.
So. No, they are by far when you're going to hear me say a lot, these people, blah, blah, blah. I'm referring to everyone but the two of them because they are the only emotionally intelligent together sweet.
And they have 3 under 2.
Yeah. 3
under 2. And they're still keeping it together, supporting each other. It was it's insane how much hope that couple has given me watching this show.
Yeah.
It's insane how much hope. And I'll talk more about that going on the show because there's not very much hope in this city, okay? Mm-hmm. For straight couples in LA. There really isn't. So Danny and Nia they're up there right from the get. I was shocked how well they had it together. And then we have Zach, whose hairline is probably the talk of the town all when the season was airing.
I was trying to look up how old he was, and the first thing that came up was, does he wear a toupee? Before even what his age was. And I was like, wow. Apparently it is his real hair. I don't know if I believe him, but yeah, it's great.
I honestly have an inclination to believe him because I feel like the toupee people in LA do such a good job with the cuts. Once they glue the rug, I have multiple friends that have these things and they glue it onto your head and it sits there and every month you have to go and they'll clean you up and they'll give you some fresh glue. Mm-hmm. The way they cut and style them and even sometimes dye your hair so it all is cohesive is so impressive. I was like, there's no way that he paid $1,000 for that and the person didn't thin the front out. So maybe it is real.
I do think it is real. It just because his hair is so dark and dense and he has a 2-head, not a 4-head. People are like, girl, but I think it could be real. It's just sad that your real hair looks like a toupee.
The question stays open, and maybe we'll learn about it. Maybe that'll be a storyline on the show.
Hey guys, I lied.
Janet loves some low-hanging fruit, so I bet Janet would bring it up in a shitty moment for sure. She's totally the type that would attack someone's appearance and then cry and run away if someone attacked hers.
Oh yeah, that was like the whole vibe of the season. Like, Janet's being really shitty, but we can't say anything because she's pregnant. I'm like, well, why not? She's being
literally
a bitch.
Dig your fangs in, guys.
I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe you could be a little more gentle about it, but you should tell her that she sucks.
And I was really interested to find out that Zach is from Brittany's hometown in Kentucky. What? So Brittany brought Zach on, and Zach lives in LA and stuff now, but he's from where Brittany's from, which I thought was really, really interesting. And that's kind of how they like all inherently tie together. Kristen worked in WeHo for years, so she loves a gay. And I just think it's all kind of natural. I think Jesse and Michelle, I think Jesse is more of a Jax friend. And Brittany and Michelle found so much common ground in their separations and divorces from these very similar men that I think they became friends and will be friends going into season 2. But starting the season off, I think the relationships were like this. Jax wanted to put a show together in the Valley. He'd been talking about it forever on podcasts and stuff like that. So he called up Kristen, crazy Kristen, queen of drama. She's perfect for the show to be on it. He called up Jesse and Michelle because he's friends with Jesse. I think that I wonder if Brittany was friends with Nia or if Danny and Nia were almost like a casting thing, like they were in an outer circle and they got pulled in more to be in the friend group, or if Jesse and Danny were friends, because when they go to Big Bear later in the season, you see some friction between Jesse and Danny that feels a little brotherly. It feels like a weird, you know how straight men and like have to do like some kind of a hierarchy thing, and sometimes they'll flex on each other or like knock each other down a peg. Or like in a really toxic way. And like we see Jesse do that to Danny, and Danny can't fucking handle it because he's got 3 under 2. And so I just feel like maybe that's a little too familiar for them to have just met and Jesse be flexing on him like that. So maybe Jesse suggests Danny and Nia to Jax because he's kind of friends with them. Janet, I think it was friends with Kristen and with Zach. So that Janet and Jason worked in well. I think Janet and Jason also hang out with Brittany and Jax inherently. So that worked out well. And then I think Jasmine is friends with Zach and Kristen. And they were probably like, this is going to sound terrible, but it's true. They're like, we need diversity. So let's bring Jasmine on the show, the bisexual black girl from The Bachelor. I love watching the show because there's so much B-roll of the Valley. We get like Tahunga Village and like Aroma, the restaurant I go to. We get a Lancashire Boulevard sign. Yeah. We get like downtown North Hollywood and Magnolia, literally outside my front door. So I love that about the Valley and where they're shooting. I think that's great.
That is so true. Like I don't think I have been to any of the places where they dined. But like all the B-roll, I was like, oh yeah, yeah. Okay, wait, I have a question. Jax's place, what did that used to be? It looked so familiar.
In Studio City on Ventura Boulevard, across from the Granville that you and I have eaten at several times and that I hostessed at, is a Rocco's. Remember that?
Yeah, Rocco's, yeah.
What they did was the owners of Rocco's lobbed off a back portion of it that was like underdeveloped and not being utilized, and they turned it into another bar. So it's like a little backyard kind of side yard that you walk over to. It shares a kitchen and like fridges with Rocco's. It's owned by the Rocco's people. Oh, okay. But they let Jax put a sign out front and have his own little side area that's like half inside, half outside. It's small, but it's there. We went to Jax's bar last St. Patrick's Day.
How was it?
St. Patrick's Day, because we needed an excuse. And I was like, you know what? We want to go out for a drink. Can we try Jax's place? Because we haven't been yet. And here's my review. It's good if you're going for adult Disneyland. Like if you want to go and see a Bravo celebrity there, like Jax, like Brittany, or someone on the Valley, and you go on a holiday or when they're having like a viewing event or whatever, it's great because you're going to see what you want to see. Mm-hmm. And they do karaoke and they have board games there and it's cute. The drinks are not good. The drinks are bad. They don't even have lime juice.
What?
They use sour mix. You can't open a bar in LA and not have lime juice for your margarita. Like that feels like really, it feels so gross. It feels like it's blasphemy. You shouldn't be allowed to have a bar.
Yeah, that's wild.
You got to have real lime juice. Come on. So that's my gripe. And that's why I don't want to go there and buy drinks there. I mean, if I'm going to go for a viewing event, Natalie wanted to go for the Valley, and I'm tempted to do it because at the end of last season, Jax was wasted there at the bar and he was like screaming things at the TV and like yelling at people, like his castmates on the TV while it was on and people were watching it at the bar.
Oh God.
And I just feel like the meta car wreck of it all sounds so appealing. Yeah. But I'm sure he's selling door entry tickets for like $80 and that I'm not going to pay. So
yeah.
That I'm not going to pay. But I think it's fun that it exists. And I like that there's a Bravo presence in the Valley. I really wish that they would get lime juice and like, there's easy little refinements they could make to actually make it a spot locals want to go to. But because they don't take those little steps, like getting real lime juice for a margarita, it's not going to be a place that a local is going to choose to go have a casual drink with a friend at.
Yeah.
It has to be an eventized reason to go.
Yeah.
Like at least Tom and Schwartz's place, they had Schwartz and Sandy's in Franklin Village there, right near the UCB improv school that you had your show at. Yeah, and the Scientology Center. It's right in the plaza behind it. At least their place was like, the drinks were good, their steak and frites was good, and it was in a cute neighborhood. Like they had things going for them that would pull locals in. Their bar wasn't as built out as I thought it should be for them being bartenders and like Schwartz or Sandy, oh my God, Tom Sandoval being a bartender and like wanting to butt into Ariana's cocktail book. Like I expected the bar to be much more built out, but they kind of rushed the opening to get people in there and they never really filled out the back bar. So I thought that was kind of like a bummer, but for the most part, like of all the places that have opened up in the Bravo universe / like Vanderpump restaurant bar universe in LA, Jax's doesn't rank very high. At the State Fair baby shower, Jax starts trying to produce the episode and he starts telling everyone how he thinks Kristen shouldn't be trying to have a baby. Oh, and like his opinion on it.
Yeah.
And then you see like Sheena getting involved. You know, Sheena's from Vanderpump Rules too. And she's like a friend of on this season. So is Lala, who's also at the party.
But I feel like they were only at that party. I don't remember them in any other part of the season.
I think that they're trying to tiptoe them in more and more because fan outcry does not want them involved. But they are experienced and they are part of the friend group, or so they say. So I don't know. But Sheena's around the Valley. I saw her at AMP with her kid going to like a little music after school session the other day. So that was, I mean, they're here. They're out there.
They're out there.
That's right. And then, so then you see Jax like pants Danny and Nia starts crying.
that was okay.
Well, I get it. I actually totally understood why Nia was upset. She was like, they're tired, right?
Yeah.
She's probably exhausted. And then her husband was like embarrassed, like his penis was out at the party. So she ran into a side room and cried.
And I was like, okay. But then, like, especially for the rest of the season, knowing what she was going through, I was like, all right, okay. She was like, she's just stressed. And, like, his penis was out.
And then Brittany goes in and tries to console her. And she's like, none of us saw it, right, guys? None of us saw anything. We didn't see anything. Jax is an idiot.
Yeah, he would not want to do you harm. You know he loves you. That was wild.
Oh my God. Of course, Sheena is right there. She is right beside Nia, like on her thigh, like, don't cry, Nia. And I'm like, Sheena, stop. That's one thing about Sheena. She's getting on the show. She's going to be, mark my words, she's going to be in the opening credits for this new season. She
Really?
has to be. I don't think she's going to be friend of anymore. There's no way. She's just going to butt her way right in.
Wow.
She bought a house in the Valley going into that season. She bought another house, a second house.
Wow.
Technically a third house because she has a vacation house too. But she bought another house in the Valley around the corner from them because so did Lala. We thought they were trying to get on the show.
Okay, wait. Is it bad that I don't think the titty twister was that big of a deal either?
Oh my God, it's really funny. So as somebody who has titty twisted and threatened to titty twist people, sometimes it comes from a place of like cuteness aggression or like, you're just an idiot. Like, you know what I mean? If you knew, now that we know Jessie, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
Now that we know the type of person Jessie is, I can see why Luke was irritated that Jessie pinched Kristen's nipple back. It's kind of weird that he did.
Yeah. I would be like, now that I know everything I know about him, I'd be like, don't you ever fucking touch me. Yeah.
Yeah. And Luke's argument of all of it is like, this guy is aggressive. And if he's comfortable reaching across and pinching Kristen's nipple and isn't even thinking about it, what else is he going to do?
Yeah.
And then we see Jessie the whole season banging on the table. I hate unacceptable for someone to do that. That's actually a threat. That's a physical threat. That's a man saying, I'm so angry. I want to scare you. And I can't control myself. So I'm going to bang this table. That's like one step from hitting somebody, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was really gross. And he's
done it multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, that's the fun party. That's the party. And we get a little foreshadowing on this season of The Valley, and we get to see Tom Schwartz outside of Jax's bar saying to Jax, it's only a matter of time before you're living with me, divorced. And like,
damn,
literally spot fucking on. You know why, Thomas?
Is he living with him?
Tom Schwartz was on Vanderpump Rules, and he was married to Katie Maloney, and they got married on the show and divorced on the show. And Schwartz bought a condo here in the Valley. And the second that Tom Sandoval's single and Tom Schwartz is single, then all of a sudden Jax's marriage starts falling apart. Allegedly, without Tom Schwartz knowing, Jax went and bought the condo next door to Tom Schwartz. So now they live in condos next door to each other.
These guys are like not to be ageist, but these guys are like pushing 50 and like are like,
I know. Well, I just feel like the heyday for them was like they all lived, Jax, Tom, and Tom all lived in an apartment together when they first moved to LA. And they were banging chicks and they were models, and that was like their life. And I think they're just constantly dreaming of better days. Mm-hmm. They're like addicted to that attention or something.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. There were points during this where I was like, I don't know if I can just like watch straight men talk to each other about their problems. Like, it was like,
we don't see, but you know what? We don't see it on any other show.
That's true. It's
really unique. This is a really unique show for Bravo in that sense.
Yeah. I felt my face. I had like a visceral reaction when they were like playing hockey and they were all talking to the four of them, and I was like, was like, when is this over?
Playing hockey at North Hollywood Park. There's like a roller rink. I literally made a list of like the locations they filmed at in the valley here on the side.
Uh-huh.
So in the second episode, Jax meets Kristen for lunch, and he picks a steakhouse, even though she's vegetarian and has been for like over like 20 years. Or
really
something.
good guy.
He's known forever. He's a producer on the show, and he picks Smokehouse in Burbank, which is actually, fun fact, George Clooney's production company is named after this steakhouse, which is found outside of Warner Brothers Studios. So if you're a Bravoholic and you are coming to LA and you're going to do the Warner Brothers studio tour, you could go to dinner at Smokehouse across the street after, and you could knock out like I think a good Hollywood staple spot.
It's a really good tour too.
They go there, and I thought it was hilarious that he picked a steakhouse, so Kristen really can't eat much. It's just... and in episode 2, they also go to Fryman Canyon. That's where Kristen and Luke are hiking with his German Shepherd. They're at Fryman. And then they also go to the North Hollywood roller rink. And like, yeah, it's unique that they're straight guys talking about their relationships, because even on Southern Charm, when those guys talk about their relationships, it's always like after a breakup or after something's happened, and it's very short and it's very curt. It's more like, yeah, things aren't working out. I'm sad. I'm dating. Let's drink. And that's pretty much like how it goes. It's not like they're actually talking about if things are falling apart. So that's why I thought The Valley was kind of a fresh take.
I don't know. It kind of devolved into what you just said on the latter half of the season. Things aren't working out. Let's drink. Wait, I wrote down something Jack said. What did he say? Oh, it was in episode 4. I forget where they were, but Jack says, "This sucks. I just want to get drunk and take shots and bitch about my wife." That's his idea of a really good time. Good time. Yeah. It's like, that's really sad.
That is really sad. That I feel like is a certain generation's though outlook on marriage. It's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't subscribe to like everybody being like that, but there's definitely like a large population of men that think that way. And I just think it's, how embarrassing is it that you chose a life partner and then you like make jokes about how you guys aren't, you committed and chose this person.
Right.
I just think it's so embarrassing for you to like be openly bashing them or making jokes about them or calling them a ball and chain or whatever. I'm like, well, wait, this is your arrangement. This is what you what does that say about your choices and like how you navigate life? It's so humiliating.
Yeah, I know. It's giving
on your behalf.
It's giving ball and chain. That's like, oh, the old ball and chain. I can't go. The missus is going to say no. It's like, ugh. Yeah. I know.
Well, he's also the type of guy that bonds through sports. He picked roller hockey, and none of the other guys play roller hockey. Like Jesse, I guess, is the only one that plays hockey.
And the other two couldn't skate. Yeah.
No. Yeah, so funny. Like Jason couldn't skate. I was actually pretty impressed that Jason tried and was like, this is a good workout. Like he was really upbeat about it. It's like, shut up, you attorney, you bad attorney. Yeah. And then how toxic of it was it that Jax invited Kristen's ex Alex to the boys' night? Like that was, he's trying to produce something.
He fully was like, you guys think that's a good idea? And they were like, don't do that. And then he did it anyway. It's like, oh. And then he has like a scene with Luke where he tells him he's coming. He's like, right
and
before
Luke's
he
like,
gets
why
there.
would you? He's like, why would you do this? And he leaves.
And then he's like, Jack stands up and he's like, I fucked up, didn't I? Okay, well, here he is. He's actually here. I was like, what?
Hey. That it's so funny, and I just feel like, I don't know, it was great. And what I like about Luke is that Luke, for being this like unassuming guy from Colorado that looks like he's not in LA for the attention or the cameras, and he's just like this outdoorsman, he is really grounded. He has to be an earth sign. He can see what people are doing and he shuts it down.
Mm-hmm.
or calls it out. So he knows Jax is trying to make a scene by bringing this guy in. So Luke leaves.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like Kristen, and it's the complete opposite of Kristen, because Kristen's at girls' night and Brittany tells her, hey, I just thought you should know Jax is inviting Alex to boys' night.
Yeah.
And Kristen, the bait is like, we cast the line and with the bait on it, and Kristen's the big old fish and the grouper, and she just took a big bite of that worm. She's ready. She literally goes from 0 to 10 and then says, what's the crazy thing she says at that?
Oh, yeah.
That
Well,
moment?
Janet said that Michelle was racist.
That's right.
And a Republican.
She's like a dog backed into a corner and she's just snarling and biting at the air.
Wait, what?
She's a racist and worse, a Republican.
Yeah.
It's so LA. It's hilarious. So that we go into the next episode. We go into the next episode knowing that like all this stuff went down.
And Jesse and Michelle have a life coach. They call it therapy, but it's not therapy.
Oh my God. Yeah. Michelle says that they need some help, and Jax has a great line in this episode where he says, Janet and I are very similar. She likes to spew some shit and sit back and watch it blow up.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
And then he says, I think she's a silent killer. So I really like the setup. I'm liking how Janet's arc is fleshing out. We're starting to hear this sweet, sweet pregnant woman. We're starting to get like an inclination that there could be more going on, but we haven't seen it yet. We just heard that she said Michelle's a racist and a Republican. And honestly, I do think Michelle's probably a Republican. There's something about all of it going down where
the next episode she's like, I'm Mexican and Persian, I'm not racist. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm sure that you've experienced racism, but that doesn't mean you're also not racist.
I know. It makes me think of this exterminator that I had in my old building in New York City, that when Trump announced he was running for office, that came in and said that he was Mexican, but he wasn't one of those Mexicans. And that's why he wanted to vote for Trump. And it was like by him voting for Trump, he thought he was like a more affluent version of a Mexican American or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not cute.
And so that was my first like clue into maybe like this culture of hierarchy. And so I don't know, maybe if there was a world where Michelle was a Republican, maybe it comes from a place like that.
Well, they ended up saying that what really happened was that she said that the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida was a good idea because to keep children safe. And I was like, oh, yeah. If I was at that table, I'd be like, okay, cool. You're not racist. You're not Republican. Why do you like that bill? Like, that would be me. I'd be like, well, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
So you're homophobic.
I wish Zach had a little bit more sense to pose those questions, but he's also in his first season of a reality show. So he could grow into those legs because Zach has potential. Mm-hmm. Zach, there's a moment when we'll get to the Big Bear stuff, but there's a moment where I see deep promise in Zach as a reality TV star.
My favorite quote from this episode was at the dinner table when they're all shouting and Janet says to Kristen, she doesn't just say it, she yells it. She goes, if you thought I thought Michelle was racist, why wouldn't you call me? What? Well, why wouldn't you call me? Like, that is so weird to me. Just hearing that, I was like, oh, wow.
Right after that, one of my favorite moments was when Kristen and Zach sit down outside. And Zach says, when Kristen's like, why didn't you back me up? Like, you heard Janet say this stuff. And Zach says, I admitted it on camera. And he's like, and for that, I'm very sorry. What? And then it's just like dead silence. It's just dead silence. And then the camera pans and Janet is standing like at the inside door, like eavesdropping.
Messy. This is the point where I was like, do these people like even like each other? Or are they doing this just for the money? Like,
well, they're on a reality show, so you know.
Then I had the thought, like, if they all got along, it wouldn't be interesting. And I probably wouldn't watch.
No, it's a great formula because they're all similar to when Vanderpump started. it's a group of people that all want a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
And they're all in a very similar but different life place. And I think it's a really great representation of people being in their 30s, 40s, and 50s in LA.
Yeah.
50s, because like Jax is essentially 50. I don't know how old he is, but
He's like 45.
Yeah, he's 45. So you know what I mean? Yeah. I think it's a great take on all this. And then there's a moment where they're at the carnival. This is the scene we were talking about earlier. And the guys, it's Danny, Jax, and Jesse. And Danny's like telling them that they have to learn what their wife's love languages are.
Oh yeah.
And how to show them love.
Yeah.
And they were like, love language? No, what's that? And he's like, you have to understand how your wife receives love so you can give her love. And I was like, I love you, Danny.
I also love
this. I stand this short king so much. Like, he's so perfect.
Jax was like, is that like do I get that test at CVS? Like, what is that? I was like, fucking idiot.
He's just thinks he's so funny. And then they're like complaining about stuff. Like they're complaining about sex, Jesse and Jax, so typical. And their wives are like, both of Brittany and Michelle have the same gripe about their husbands, that they are taking care of the children almost exclusively. Brittany does continuously say, Jax is a good dad. He's a great father. But like, I haven't seen what's he doing besides cutting the lawn? He loves to do the lawn stuff, but he's not. What does he do? Yeah, that was the same party where Jax's kid was playing in the hot tub and Jax was pulling down Danny's pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, same party.
Yeah. There was one party. Yeah, there was one party where Michelle was like, said to Jesse, do you want to go check on Isabel? He was like, no. Yeah. Right. He's like, should we go check on your daughter? No.
So they're bitching about not having sex with their partners. And Danny says, life changes. You just got to roll with it, man. And I thought that was so sweet. He's got 3 under 2, you know? He's going to keep saying it because I feel like him saying 3 under 2 is kind of like what gets him going to like get through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we learned later that he's like barely holding it together.
Yeah, yeah. And so I can see whenever he says 3 under 2, it's like a way of him hyping himself up, like hyping up the team.
I'm super dad. Yeah, I can do this. We can do this. Yeah.
Yeah, it comes with his chest when he says it. So I feel like I get why they make fun of him for repeating it constantly, but I feel like that's his mantra to like have the family he wants to have. He knew that these years were going to come in and he has to put the work in, you know? Mm-hmm. Because I really do think him and Nia are great partners, even though like she has a girls' night and he's on camera calling her asking when she's coming home.
Yeah, that's not great.
I think she was supposed to spend the night there, but yeah. She leaves early. But I mean,
the AC was broken.
Out of all of them, the AC was broken.
That's a big deal.
literally for me, I'd be at a hotel. Yeah. I couldn't. In the valley, with the AC broken and 3 under 2.
I would be. If it was just me, I'd be calling someone like, "Hey, I have to come over. My AC's broken."
Yeah, I need to move in for the weekend. Is that okay? And then we see Danny and Brittany go to Kristen and Luke's place while they're out, like for lunch, and they make their place all romantic. And they put out like a massage table and rose petals. And Brittany's like, I just don't get date nights anymore from Jax.
Yeah. She's like, we don't even get date night. I wrote down how to spell date night. I love it so much.
There's an O in there.
I think, how did I spell it? Nauight. Date night. Dayte. Oh, God. Yeah, I can't get over her accent. That was so sweet that they did that for them. It's so weird to me when straight people are like, yeah, we're trying. It's like, I'm dumping loads every night. You know?
It's like they're announcing to people that they're like,
hey, do you need our condoms? We're not using them. Yeah. This is where we learn also that my favorite thing about Luke is that his dog's name is Jill. His dog has a human name. Oh, that's just Jill. She's loud, but she's sweet. She's friendly. Jill.
Jill.
That's my favorite thing about him.
It's like Jill the German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Jill the German Shepherd.
Oh, Jill, get out of here, Jill.
Kristen also doesn't miss an opportunity while she's at dinner to say how big Luke's penis is on camera.
Oh, did she? I missed that.
Yeah. Oh, which has been done in the Bravo-verse before. I mean, there's been Bravo celebrities before her to announce their partner has a large,
member. A turgid member.
Kristen is looking to be like, I'm young, I'm fun, and I like to have sex. Like, that's how she's showing her status to the group.
And
that's
he's
like
32. I have a young one, so he can go over and over again. Yeah.
Yes, and they make jokes about going 3 or 4 rounds on camera. Like that's how they're like they're flexing.
We didn't even use the massage table for massage. We didn't get that far. He just bent me over.
Yeah.
And made a deposit.
Ew.
That's what they're saying.
I know. It's
one of the friends was like, "Did you
one
put
day
your
they're
legs
going to
up?"
study this. Did you put your legs up? Yeah. Did she say she did too? She's like, yeah.
She was like, yeah, I did the right thing. Yeah.
I did the right thing. I did the thing. So then we go into the next episode and we've got a girls' weekend. And Nia is so cute. She's like planning it and she has a little like paint and sip party planned for them at this Airbnb
Really
that
cute.
she inevitably leaves early.
Yeah, because Danny
can't handle it. Brittany's excited for the night out and Janet throws a jab in the confessional saying, do I sometimes worry about how much Brittany drinks? But then again, she is married to Jax.
That is so shitty.
And that was like the first indicator where I was like, this is the first time on camera that Janet's saying something. It's a confessional. So she, it's prompted, it's an aftermath, but she's saying something shitty. And sure, it might have been something shitty she said later when Jax is calling her out for drinking and stuff. And they just like plugged it into an earlier episode when they're editing it, which is possible. Like they do on these shows, sometimes Frankenstein things, especially with confessionals. If they get you saying something shady, they'll bump it up like to a point where you guys are getting along so that when the cast is watching the show before a reunion, they're like, wait, you were saying what about me? You said it first. And they're like, no, I said that months later. They just moved it up.
They make them wear the same clothes so that they can put it anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I do think that maybe Janet didn't say it yet in this episode, but she's talking shit about Brittany and she's like, I guess she knows she's signing her checks. Or at least he's insinuating he's signing her checks, which is Jax.
What I loved is when Kristen goes on about being an empath and the editors clip together this montage of her yelling at people. That was so shady, but so funny. I was like, damn, Bravo, that was so shady.
From like another show too, not even like the current season. Like it's been like 10 years or 15 years since she was on that show.
It was like in a vignette, with soft background music of her being like, as an empath, and it's like it's her just cussing people out.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
It was so good. Oh, okay, here we go. Jesse's interpretation of therapy that he and Michelle did when he's talking to the guys in the pool is really like interesting.
It's not, I'm sorry, it's not therapy. Listen, my sister is a relationship coach. She's like taken classes, gotten credentials. Like, I want to know if this life coach has any of that. Like, it's giving ivermectin. It's giving like he just like makes it up. And he's like, yeah, I just do this for people. You know what you need? You need to go on this wellness retreat and do ayahuasca to get out of your ego.
Get some one night in of ayahuasca in Topanga Canyon and you are going to be fixed.
Yeah.
And we'll get to it. But like, my God, that was, I loved it. It was art. That whole arc of just Jesse going off to the ayahuasca retreat.
It was great.
And coming back with the beanie and the hug. We'll get to it.
Mandatory slouched beanie.
Cannot. So good.
I don't know. Okay, tell me if I'm wrong.
What were you going to say?
Tell me if I'm wrong, but like, would they like have this little like afternoon pool party, these guys. I didn't know people still like drink like this. Like they were like, there's like 6 of us. Is 80 beers enough? Like that was insane.
Well, because they have kids now, they probably, and they used to club drink. I assume now that they just day drink by the pool because it's easier to walk home. They all live in the same neighborhood.
True.
You know?
I loved when Jesse's talking about how, you know, how his relationship is like in shambles basically. And then they bring up that like Michelle spends lots of time with like hot, successful men to try and sell real estate to them. And Luke is like, so you're cool if she spends like 8 or 9 hours alone with a famous person? And he like, was like, well, when you're secure in your relationship, I can trust her. And I'm like, you just said you were not secure in your relationship. Like, and he like came at him. And then he was like, and if she does mess up, I can tell our daughter for the next 40 years that she's the problem.
I wrote that down.
That is
I wrote that down.
So disgusting.
I wrote that down. He said, I get to tell our daughter 40 years from now that how her mom fucked up.
Yes. He's disgusting.
He is disgusting. He's literally the person that will do anything to prove he was right. He's the person that will go the distance just to say, I told you so. This person will never take accountability. And that's what Michelle says the whole season. And in that statement, it validated everything Michelle's ever said. At this point, Michelle is absolutely not into Jesse. There's nothing, every moment she has to slap Jesse verbally with something, she takes it. She's so resentful and angry. And I firmly believe that man left her alone to raise that child. I don't think he was involved at all. I think he was gone, fucking off. And Brittany and Michelle sit down and Brittany asks her like how she's doing. And Michelle tells Brittany that she's been unhappy for like 3 years.
That's crazy. Yeah.
That's crazy. So at this point, we are watching this thing fall apart. This is where
I was like, I don't know if this is like, am I okay? Like, I don't know if I need to keep watching. I'm watching through my fingers of like, oh God.
So good. 10, 20 years from now, when we look at this show and where it was in modern society as a reflection, I do think it is a good reflection of people in this area, at least in LA County. And, you know, people telling Brittany and Jax that they did good getting 9 years, almost 10 years in. Like, what? What's the intention of that giant wedding that you had on TV where you committed yourselves to each other? I
also feel like these people, like, again, when I say these people, not Danny and Nia, like they feel like they need to have kids because that's the next step. Okay, we got married. Like the fact that Jax and Brittany are like on the brink of divorce and she's like, I want another kid. I'm like, you think that's gonna help things? Like, why? Well, you
know what I think she wanted the other kid. You know why Brittany's pushing? I think Brittany wants the other kid for her. Mm-hmm. I think she's like, give me your sperm so our kids can be siblings. Jax, I don't need you to raise it. A couple episodes from now, she starts saying like, I've got my own money. It doesn't matter. Like, I think she literally just wanted to have her kid and because she wants a family. They've always talked about how she wants a family. She comes from a big family. So I really truly think that like she had already accepted Jax and for what he was bringing to the table. As this therapist that I listened to last week said, everybody has a menu. Okay, Thomas, you have a menu. I have a menu. And when you have friends, you have to understand what's on your friend's menu. And you can't order off the menu. So if you want poutine, okay, fries with gravy and cheese curds, it might not be on Thomas's menu. So you can't expect to get something from the menu. And, you know, you'll find that out in your relationship. And if you are okay and you don't need to eat that thing on the menu, then you can go on with your friendship and just know that you can't order that item, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I think Brittany accepts Jax's menu and is like, this is what I got with the first kid. I want to have kids. And this is the time in my life where I want to have the kids. So I don't think she's thinking it's going to save anything.
Yeah.
I think she just wants to have the kid.
Yeah.
Which, girl, 2 kids is way different than 1 kid.
Yeah.
So it's getting dark.
Yep.
It's getting dark. And then we start seeing Luke in a confessional, you know, after he asks Jesse that question about like, what if she isn't faithful? And then Jesse responds that he gets to tell his daughter how his mother fucked up. Luke then says in a confessional that it's hard to sit and hear all this with a secret that he knows.
Yeah. The secret.
Now, anyone tells me there's a secret and I'm in. I'm leaning in. I'm like, what's the secret?
What's the secret?
You can tell me. I won't tell anybody. What's the secret?
Wait, okay, literally, the next episode when Jax is like, with Jax and Jasmine, and he's like, hey, I'm about to tell you something, but can this stay between us?
On camera.
On camera. So she gives the most unconvincing, like, yeah.
She knew what was happening.
Yeah.
She knew what was happening.
I was like, wow, she has no intention of keeping this a secret.
Because it's about to all come up. Like what he's about to tell Jasmine, asking her if she can keep a secret, is the same thing he told Kristen at Smokehouse.
Yeah.
He started that. Because Brittany told him. Michelle told Brittany. Brittany told Jax. And then Jax told Kristen at lunch. And he even asked, is the camera on? And then, of course, it's on. There's probably a red light flashing. And he then tells Kristen on camera, forgets he tells Kristen on camera or thinks he can get it edited out. And then for the rest of the season, starts saying, Kristen said this to me about Michelle.
Yeah, and it was all him. Is there a reunion on this show? I feel like there should be.
There wasn't on this season. Typically with these shows, like Southern Hospitality is really good and they just had their 3rd season, and the last 2 seasons they gave them like a little 1 episode part, like small reunion, and everyone's pissed about it because there wasn't enough time to cover stuff. Generally, I think they give them 1 or 2 seasons without a reunion to like reunions bring up the trauma again, and it makes it harder to move on. So I think there could be a strategy to not giving new shows a reunion the 1st or 2nd season because they're worried that the cast could disband and not be able to repair. And then once they get the groove of like what it's like, because when you're filming the show, that's your first punch, right? That's the first thing you have to recover from in your relationships with these people. When you watch the show back, that's your second punch. So even if the wound is healed, you rip the scab off when you're watching it again. Maybe you're seeing a confessional of them saying worse stuff, or you're seeing scenes of them talking about you or your spouse or whomever that you weren't aware of. And then the third is when you have to sit down at the reunion and like confront each other about it. So it's like now in the Bravoverse, there's like 3 waves of heat for each season. And then after the reunion, you hope you can repair with a time off. And like after getting it all out at the reunion, and then you go into your next season.
So they're filming this again, or they have filmed it already. It's for over the summer. So like a whole year goes by before they film again.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, they get like, I think they get like half a year off or so before they pick up the cameras again.
Okay.
Vanderpump kind of got into a groove where it was the same block of time because you'd always see Pride on Vanderpump Rules. You would always see the 4th of July. Like you'd go through the summer for filming and then they'd have the fall and winter off.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but everything's different, so I don't know. The edit is definitely making it look like Michelle wasn't faithful. That's what I wrote. I put, it's like kind of evident, but I want to know. Jax at the pool party says like some director or some celebrity or something. So who says that? Who says there's a director? In his confessional, he did.
Oh yeah, it was Jax, I think, where he I don't know. It's a director that she was going to sell a house to or something.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, who is it? Do you know who it was? Want me to tell you?
No.
The person.
Wait, you know?
Yes. She's Tarantino. She was hanging out and showing Tarantino places and sending pictures Wait, I'm wondering if they're feet pics because of all
I was
like
gonna
the
say, it has to be
allegations.
feet.
And then like no one's going to be jealous. Like and it fits perfectly into the storyline because like, is Jesse really going to care if his business partner / wife is sending feet pics to one of the biggest directors in town to sell a house or build a relationship or something? But that's a big assumption, assuming she's actually sending pictures to him. But that was an allegation brought up on the show. So I'm just repeating things we've heard, rumored throughout the season. But I thought that was really good. So, okay. So this is where in this episode, after Jasmine and Jax talk, Jasmine gives Jax some tips on how to woo Brittany and is like, I think Brittany really needs you to put some effort in, and is like telling him to do it. And I thought that was a really interesting thing because up to this point, Jax is really trying to brush it all under the rug for the cameras to make it seem like everything's okay.
Yeah.
And then, so after, it's almost like Jax springs the scene on her about talking about this Kristen rumor. And then Jasmine springs the consultation of rescuing his marriage on him. I thought it was like a little bit of a chess match that neither of them expected those storylines to come into the scene.
And I don't like, it gave to me that like they were, this was a very transactional conversation. Like, I don't think they hang out together.
No, it was not, it did not feel like friends. It was weird.
No.
It was really, it was weird.
This is just for the show.
So Jax tells Jasmine that Michelle's texting other men and Kristen's been keeping the secret. And he's worried. He's worried that Kristen's going to let it slip.
When like he's the one who's telling everyone.
He's always been this guy though. He can't keep anything.
Really?
Yes. Now oh my God, one day we have to watch Vanderpump Rules. I mean, maybe I can get you to come around to it, but that would be, there's
a lot there though, right?
That show is this show times 30.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's them in their 20s coked up. It's crazy.
Okay. They're in their 40s coked up. Just Jax.
just Jax. Okay, Danny and Nia are restoring my faith in modern parents. And I want to take a moment now to stand on a platform in the town square and petition the town to take them off the show. Because this precious little family and these beautiful people, I don't want their marriage to fall into ruin. And I worry that going into the new season, that if Jax and Brittany are broken up and Michelle and Jesse are broken up, everyone's going to be coming for the people in relationships. That happens on every Bravo show, and they make it really hard for people to keep their relationships. And I don't want Kristen and Luke. Kristen's got armor. They can do it, but I'm worried about Nia and Danny surviving, and I don't want.
It's already happened. Can I tell you when?
No. What's happened?
No, on this season, it already happened. This is why I don't like Michelle. Okay, so there's two things that I noticed that I was like, ew, Michelle. It was at some dinner. I think it might have been. It was Jax's hair care, skincare party.
Yeah.
First of all, as a professional, I can tell you, Jax's hair is thinning. He still has a lot of hair. Everyone's like, no, you're not bald. You're not bald. It is thinning. All four of those men have gorgeous full heads of hair. So how dare they? Anyway, at the table, this is right after Michelle's basically told Jesse right before, like, I don't want to be married to you anymore. And like, he's like really quiet. And like, she turns to him and she's like, yeah, come on, Jesse. Why are you being so quiet? I'm like, you know why? Like, she drew attention to it, and that made me really mad. And then in Big Bear, when she saw that Danny was turned, and like she took that moment at the table to be like, so Danny wants to move to Santa Clarita, and you don't want that, right, Nia? Like, have you talked more about where you're going to live? I don't like her.
I don't either. I thought that was really low, and I thought, like, they're high altitude Big Bear, and they've got this young couple that probably hasn't drank in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And Danny is drunk, dressed as like a Scottish man, and they start
from Outlander.
And Jesse starts knocking at his acting ability. If I was a man, I would just beat Jesse up.
Yeah.
Because he is just a fucking worm.
You could tell he's never been hit. And like I think he
He
has a
needs to
smart
be
mouth.
hit.
Yeah, like he was not hit as a child.
No, and Danny will never do it. But like for him to be like, oh, really good acting. No one hire him as an Irish. What? Just shut the fuck up. He's not.
Yeah.
You guys are having a weird couples party where someone's dressed as a hot dog.
I don't think Jesse thinks before he speaks. Like when Janet comes out and they're talking, he's like, "Go away, we're talking." And she's I'm fucking cooking in here. I'm pregnant and hungry, and like goes downstairs and starts crying. And he's like, "Well, I probably shouldn't have said that, huh?" You should probably shouldn't say anything.
Just shut up. Sit down and shut up. Like, no wonder Michelle hates him so much.
Yeah.
This is what he's doing on camera. Imagine when he's not on camera.
Yeah. And then at that hair dinner, fucking flirting with the Burning Man girl who's like selling her dresses.
Yes.
I'm just like, what are you doing? And then at the table, when she tells him to stop being quiet, he's like, is anyone going to go to Burning Man?
He's so gross.
He's so gross.
He's literally the people that go to Burning Man. That's who goes to Burning Man now. It's not what it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, my sister and her husband used to go, and that's not what it is anymore. It's Jesse. Yeah. It's Jesse. It's someone like Jesse that wants to go and wants to do shrooms and acid and Molly all together at the same time, and then to have an orgy and be like, this is Burning Man. This changed my life.
Orgies and drugs, and no one's showering because we're just primal. Like, that's who's there.
I think
and that's why I'll probably never go.
I couldn't go just because if the AC breaks, I lose it. So the AC's broken out there.
Could you imagine if me, you, and Natalie were at Burning Man?
I think we last all of 2 hours.
We would be driving back to Palm Springs or something ASAP. I don't think Natalie would probably get a heat rash. Mm-hmm. Or not be able to breathe because of the sand. And then I'd get a sunburn, which I'm not going to do well with. And I hate dirt.
Oh, yeah.
And I need plumbing. I mean, we're going to have a deluxe RV. And even then I don't think it's good enough.
And I will be wringing out my shirt with sweat. I think we would go just for the photo opportunities. And then you'd be like, all right, we got it. Let's go. And then we're not even those people. We're
not even those people, though. I think we would go to be like, we have to do this before we're old. We have to do this is something we have to check off the bucket list. And then we would go, and then we would hate it, and then we would leave.
Yeah.
And be like, I don't care if we wasted our money. Let's leave.
Yeah.
Jesse says, I want to step outside myself and see the ego inside. That is inside. I want to step outside myself and see the ego that is inside. And he is he literally says to the camera that after this, he wants Michelle to be attracted to him or respect him, but he has to show her first.
And this ayahuasca trip will do that.
Right. I thought that was really great. And then Danny literally was like, why don't you, in the confessional, he's like, just go to couples therapy. You don't need to do drugs. And I was like,
he's right.
I love it.
I love
it. I love Danny. I'm in love with Danny now. So something we haven't seen with Kristen before, a partner that can calmly talk to her. Mm-hmm. Luke, she trusts Luke and Luke's opinion. And you can see that. I've never seen Kristen do scenes on any of these shows with a partner or even a person. Honestly, even when she was friends with Stassi and Katie, we never saw them sit and listen to Kristen and validate how she's feeling. And I've never seen Kristen sit and take accountability in a scene. And so she's doing that with Luke. I don't know. And so I thought that was a really interesting scene that we watched with them, talking about this secret and how Kristen keeps being reactive to people and how she shouldn't be calling people racists or Republicans.
It's really, you can't be doing that.
No. It's social suicide.
Yeah.
And then we see Kristen starting to prepare to throw this party for James May. And I was like, Zach is being so sweet and supportive. He's like, this is her bringing back her t-shirt company, and I just want to make sure it's the best event yet, and he's there hugging her and telling her how great it looks. And that was really nice.
I felt very seen by how sweaty he was. I was like, okay, yes. I'm sympathizing with him more now.
I think he's perfect for this. I think he's perfect for this show. And then we find out that Janet and Michelle are not invited to the James May t-shirt launch party. So we see a scene where Janet says she's not invited to the party, but then she makes a phone call and decides to throw a baby moon in Big Bear. And she's not going to invite Kristen or Zach, but maybe. And so Jax takes it upon himself. And it is like, without saying it, he's saying, like, as the producer, I have to tell them at this party that they're not invited to Big Bear.
Right. He decided to be the messenger. Didn't Janet and Jason start this, though? Because they didn't invite Kristen to their hibachi night.
That's a great point.
Hibachi game night. Yeah, it started
I forgot
with
about
that.
how bad hibachi game night was. I just, totally neglected the hibachi. They did start it. Janet did start it.
Yeah.
But then she acts like
Kristen started it. Yeah.
Kristen started it.
Yeah, no, she was like, I just don't want them there. That was when I realized that, Michelle truly hates Jesse. There was one point where she was like, is there something in my teeth? And he's like, what? She's like, look at my fucking teeth. Why would I be asking you? Is there anything in it? I was like, oh my God. It's like, you guys need to stop being together.
I think I missed that scene. I don't remember her telling him to look at her teeth. And then she's she's almost like stressed. It sounds like she's stressed doing it. And if they work together all the time too, I'm kind of surprised that before they do a viewing or something, asking if something's in your teeth, that seems normal. Why is he so brain dead?
Yeah. And then
Does he just not listen to her? Maybe he just doesn't listen to her and that's a trigger for her.
I just love that at I can't remember if it was the hibachi night or the James May thing, but every time a couple walks up, besides Danny and Nia, they the wife looks at their husband and they're like, don't be yourself, okay? Don't you fucking be yourself right now. I'm just these people need to separate.
Listen, be on your best behavior right now.
Yeah. She's like,
it's literally talking to your kid. It's like talking to your child before you go into the grocery store. Don't touch anything. We're not buying anything.
Yeah.
So Jax at the James May party calls everyone to sit on the stairs. Mm-hmm. And he then tells the group that Kristen and Zach, you are not invited to Big Bear for the baby moon. And I thought I should take it upon myself to tell you guys in person.
At Kristen's event, yeah.
Yeah. And so Kristen just eye rolls, right? Kristen's okay, of course I'm not invited. And she's whatever about it because she is a seasoned veteran. However, precious Zach, who Nia then shares in a confessional, feels is not shrapnel, but what's the word here? He's guilty by association.
Collateral damage.
Collateral. Thank you.
No, I'm going to use that with you from now on. Oh man.
Shrapnel.
Yeah, he was shrapnel.
He got hit. He got hit with shrapnel.
In the crossfire, he's the shrapnel.
So that Nia says in the confessional that she thinks Zach is collateral damage and that's why he's not invited to Big Bear, which is totally the thing. But honestly, best decision ever.
Yeah.
Best decision ever. Leave Zach out. Zach has this crying scene. He freaks out. He's like, Janet is such a bitch. All this is because she said something. Yeah. And now I can't, I'm missing scenes and I'm not going on the trip. I'm not going on the trip of the season. Because you have to think about this from their perspective of shooting a show too. Leaving people out of inviting them to stuff is not inviting them to be a part of moments on the show, not being in scenes, not being with the group. So you're going after their paycheck a little bit.
Yeah, if he was on that trip, I bet he would have not been a friend of. He would have been in the opening.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, which he should be.
Yeah.
A cast. He was in lots of episodes and he was bringing it. Great choice to leave him out because it totally triggers him and pushes him more into Kristen's side. And then we get this great moment where there's a pocket gay in pink Croc boots that's filming everything. And Jasmine catches him and is like, "Are you filming this?" And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm gonna go.
I was just texting Janet. Yeah. He even said, he was like, "No, I'm not filming. No. I was texting Janet. That's all." She like sent little minions to go to the event.
It was amazing. It was it's akin to Ursula and her eels. Like these two guys are her eels. And it would be, imagine, okay, if you were on the other side of it, it would be so frustrating. But as a reality TV viewer, I'm obsessed with it. I think is. She is poking a hole. They're a water balloon. Kristen and Zach are full water balloons. And she is just taking pins and trying to put as many pins in that thing as she can do before it like pops.
Yeah.
And sending two guys to be like, "Oh no, I'm just texting Janet." It's like while you're having a meltdown. It's criminal. It's criminal.
It's so shitty when she later like calls him and her little gaze on speaker with her little gaze there. I'm like, oh my God. That's not even high school. That's like some middle school shit.
It was low.
Yeah.
And they're gesturing. They're all like reacting and hyping her up to be like more offended.
Yeah.
And so she calls Zach to tell him, "Yes, it's confirmed. You are not invited and you should be kissing my shoes." She's basically like, "Wait, you're trying to get an invitation from me and you're acting like this?"
Yeah.
It's very much like middle school. I'm having a birthday party and you're the only classmate that's not invited. And you're calling to ask if you can be invited and you're not honoring me the way I want to be honored. So no, you can't come to McDonald's.
You didn't give me a compliment.
There's not enough room at the play place at McDonald's for you. Sorry.
Oh, God. Play place. What a throwback.
And this is a really good episode because right after that, Jesse comes home from his ayahuasca night in his black slouchy beanie. And I love that they took the scene in their most relaxing place in the home, which was the balcony facing the Chateau Marmont. So in the distance behind Michelle, you can see the Chateau Marmont.
Oh, funny.
They're like really flexing that location of their apartment. I don't think we see anything else of their apartment until like the after separation scenes later in the season, but like except that balcony. So he comes in and sits next to her on the balcony. She's sitting there with her coffee and he's got this black beanie on and he gives her a warm embrace. Mm-hmm. And it's like it does not feel like Jesse. No. It's this weird hug. And he's like, almost like, "Let me envelop all of you in my arms."
And he does full breaths on her cheek. Yeah.
Yes. And he's like, it's just like this man, this is gold. And we'll talk about later about predictions for the new season, but I can't wait to see what happens in the new season now that he's single. And like, he believes this bullshit. I don't think he's coming in and really like faking it. I think he did do ayahuasca and now he believes this for the next 24 hours until he's triggered.
Yeah. And then I think the next episode he's hit the table again. I think it didn't last too long.
Yeah. And so then he tells Michelle that, Michelle says he seems calm and he seems different. And he said that when he did ayahuasca or whatever he did, everything around him turned into energy. And then he saw a demon and he kept throwing the demon away. And then Michelle literally is yawning. He's talking and she yawns and looks out off the balcony. Like she's like just waiting for him to be done. Like as if, I don't know, she didn't think she was on camera or something. She was not physically, her body was shutting down in front of us. He concludes by saying, "Jesse is enough." And he feels completely different now. And he thinks he's had ego death. And Michelle then says, "That is a big ego. That ego is going to be hard to kill."
Yeah.
She's so right.
Jesse is enough. It's like, what?
It's giving Barbie.
Yeah. And also like, I love that before he left, she was like, "Yeah, if you could just like change your personality." Like she literally said that. She's like, "If you could change how you are."
Your personality.
He was like, "Well, that's not great to hear."
Your whole self.
Yeah.
Your whole self.
So he's like, "Yeah, I came back and Jesse's enough." It's like, that wasn't the problem.
And she's like, no, he's not enough. No. I still fucking hate you.
I had ego death. Now I can still see it. You didn't kill enough of it.
It's still here.
Yeah, I can still feel it here. And that's when Kristen and Luke had a couples therapist. That was a therapist. The glasses and long hair, and he's actually taking notes. I was like, okay, this is a therapist.
This is a therapist. Yeah. It was much more legit. Okay, so then we see them go to Big Bear in this Airbnb, and I find the first thing that I agree with Jesse on.
Oh, yeah. What?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
He's stocking up that Airbnb. He says, people will tell you that things are at the Airbnb. I don't trust it. I'm bringing everything. And that's how I travel to an Airbnb. Okay.
That is fair.
I'm bringing the blender. I'm bringing things.
Yeah.
I'm bringing my own pillow.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not at the point yet in my life where I bring sheets, but I have met people that travel and bring their sheets with them to the hotel and put their sheets on the bed.
Interesting. I wouldn't want to bring whatever's on the hotel mattress back home with me on my sheets.
You wash it.
I know, but like, I don't know.
Well, you don't. No. They put it on top of the hotel sheets. I think it's like we're layering.
Oh wow. Okay.
Anyway,
that's a whole.
So that was the first thing, and probably the only thing I'll ever agree with Jesse on is like stocking up the Airbnb.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And they're partying on the beach. And then Brittany starts playing a video of her baby crying.
Oh, yeah.
You should
At his swim lesson.
Do an impersonation of Brittany in this moment. Do it.
Where she's like, oh, it makes my heart hurt. Oh, he's so sweet. And Jasmine's like, no, but he looks like he's doing great. It's a different environment, the water. Jax is like,
turn that off.
Turn that. I don't want to hear that. She's like, Jack, stop. That is crazy. He's learning to swim.
He's so sad.
He's like,
it's so sad. Oh, it's so sad. And he's like, stop it. Stop doing that. And she's like,
don't touch my phone.
I'm like, why is she doing full volume right next to the camera? Her kid's having a meltdown. I'm like, what is she thinking? What is she doing? But it triggers the hell out of Jax, and Jax hates it. So I thought that was really funny.
And then that's when Jesse's like starts beating up on Danny for no reason, just because he's a little drunk.
I know, it was really mean. And then Danny in the car approaches Jesse, and honestly, it was really what?
Danny says one of my favorite things ever. It's what I say all the time.
In the car or on the beach?
In the car.
Okay, what did he say?
So one of my favorite things ever is when someone says, at this point, Jesse says, I'm sorry if I offended you. It's like, that's not an apology. Danny immediately was like, that's not an apology. You should say sorry because of something you did. Like, there's no if. I was offended. Okay, so there's no if. We could start there. He tells him how to apologize correctly, and I loved him even more then.
I know. I love him. He approaches Jesse in the car, and he's really calm about it. And he says, I'm catching an energy from you, and that you keep coming for me. And like, that's when Jesse says, I'm sorry if you were offended. And he's like being a dick and calling him sensitive.
Yeah.
And it's like one man is healed and mature and the other isn't.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They're the antithesis of each other.
And then they get back to the house, and Jax does this thing where he's like, Michelle, we need to we need to talk. Grab a drink. Let's go have a talk.
This is when you can tell he's really tweaking. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't. That's when I was like, this man is doing all the drugs.
And
he's
so
like, let's sit here. Man, it's cold out here. Man, I'm sorry.
And he tells her, he keeps throwing Kristen under the bus. It's
again, yeah.
It's perfect for him that Kristen's not there, because he keeps perpetuating this storyline that Kristen told him this stuff. And And he keeps forgetting that he literally said it on camera to Kristen.
Yeah.
Anyway. So one of my favorite things I noticed during this Big Bear trip is that Nia and Danny do have a safe word.
What is it?
Babysitter. Every single time that Nia needs to get out of somewhere, she says the babysitter and puts it into a sentence. Mm-hmm. And Danny is such a good partner to Nia that every time she uses the safe word babysitter, I don't know if this is official, but I'm calling it, okay? Yeah. This is it. Their safe word is babysitter. Every time she says it, Danny like literally stands up, turns and go like a sim got new corrections in The Sims. Turns around and then they walk out the door. Like it happened when he got pantsed and Nia was crying in the room.
Yep.
Right? Got a babysitter.
She was like, you know what? We got to go relieve our babysitter.
Yeah, it's happened like 4 or 5 times now. And I'm like, safe word, babysitter.
Because Danny gets really drunk and she's like, shit, we can't leave. We can't say babysitter.
I know. But also like, you can see he's an actor, okay? Mm-hmm. And I think he's been doing it a very long time. And I think to be a good actor and to be doing it a long time, you do take cues and signals from somebody giving you instructions or giving you feedback. And so that's why I think he's so good at hearing and being receptive to, even when he's intoxicated and she tells him to go to bed. You know how many partners I've been with that have been intoxicated and I tell them to go to bed and then they like still bop around or argue or forget or like they don't go to bed. Right. I was shocked that Danny just got up and went to bed. I was like, no, he knows he's saving face and that she's looking out for him. He trusts her. Yeah. It was cool.
Yeah. Because she was like, you just said the F word to me on television. I was like, damn. Like, wasn't even that bad, but she was like,
we're all like,
said that. It's on TV. And I was like, no, don't fight.
Don't fight. I really can't. Like, they cannot break up. Like, I have so much hope in them.
I also loved that Danny didn't know what a Napoleon complex was.
That was really cute.
That was really cute. And Jason was like, no, it means like you're a jerk because you're short. And he's like, no. It just means like I have to date. Like I won't date tall chicks. I was like, that's not it. But that's really sweet.
You're so cute.
You're so cute.
You're so cute.
I wrote a note on this episode. I wrote, this shit is wild. I'm now just watching unhappy people. They really hate each other.
It's so crazy. True. My favorite part about this Big Bear trip is that Zach and Kristen devise a plan to post a story that they're in Big Bear.
Love that.
And that is why I am awarding my most valuable player award to Zach. Most valuable player of the season is Zach because he still, no matter how many holes Janet can poke in their balloons, he finds a way to get a needle in Janet's balloon. Like he's finding a way to poke Janet's balloon. It was perfect. Janet was like, oh, are they going to show up and ruin my baby moon? Which I didn't know baby moons were a thing, but they are. They're now a thing.
Yeah, but everyone, like just for the couple though.
I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to just be for them to reconnect.
Just say you're going on a trip. Like we know it's for the show. Just say you're going on a friend trip, okay?
I don't know. I feel like there's so many trips now that everyone has to do a trip for their bachelor, bachelorette. They have to do a trip for, it's just a money suck. It's a pit. It's all these trips. Baby moon. Oh my God.
I have a client that loves Bravo. I can't wait to talk to her about this. I forgot. She's getting married. Yeah. Wait, is this where, and then what I love that on like the fishing boat, Jesse is just telling each guy how to fix their marriage. Like he took one ayahuasca trip and now he's a life coach. I'm just telling all of you how to like be better. Like I was like, shut the fuck up. I just hate him.
This is why I am going to now bring up a topic I know we discussed having. Who should become a cast member on the show? And I'm going to bid something crazy.
Okay.
But since Tom Sandoval is now without a reality show, and since Tom Sandoval is now friends again with Jax and is also friends with Schwartz, and they all live in the same condo complex, those two guys, minus Sandoval, who lives in his house still. I think that the healed, I'm saying it in quotation marks, healed Tom Sandoval should, I don't think he'll do it. I think he's going to continue on a track of like these appearance, like offbeat reality shows that are small windows of time. But if he came back on the show now and tried to talk to Jesse about
how to
stuff,
be a better man,
about how to be a better man, that would trigger some kind of serious fight. Like I would watch that.
Yeah, that's great.
I would watch that. And it would also be great because it would hold a mirror. And this is why Tom probably will never do this. It would hold a mirror to Tom's healing, right? Everyone thinks he's like reformed and great. He just went on the Nick Viall podcast this week. And there's clips of him on TikTok, Nick saying that like Tom seems different. Tom seems like he's more healed, as if it's like a wound that's going to heal. But I think it'd be really, really fun to watch someone like that has reality TV experience, that has gone through what he's gone through on the national, international platform, and then like, quote, recovered while doing other reality shows and like reformed himself, then go to talk to someone like Jesse, who is like Jax 2.0. Like they're all cut from the same fucking cloth, these guys.
Yeah,
it'd be
really
hilarious.
I love that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But it is funny that he's doing that and he's talking to the guys about what they should be doing differently.
And this is where we learned that, or maybe it's not this scene, but I have it in my notes that Jason just says that he likes just standard sex, vanilla, everything. I was like, what a shame. Again, what a waste.
No, it makes complete sense. He's a lawyer. Lawyers are the most boring, accountants and lawyers, the most boring people on the planet.
Both my parents were lawyers.
I love your parents.
I don't know if they're, maybe, could you call them boring? Maybe they're.
No, they're very colorful. They're very colorful people.
Yeah, but I wonder if their sex life is boring. I don't know. I'll ask them.
Okay, ask them and report back. This is something people care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of like dressing up as your partner's fantasy for dinner. That's actually really cute.
What would your partner dress up as if they were dressing as your fantasy? What would they be in?
Oh gosh, maybe like a coach's uniform.
Like what? Like a swim coach? Like what?
Yeah, like oh my god, I have to do well for my coach.
Oh, okay. You do have a teacher's pet kink.
I do. Yeah, I was very much a teacher's pet, but like I think growing up on like all male sports teams, going through puberty, being in love with many of my teammates, and then like probably having a crush on my coach too. And then it was Billboard Dad, where she had a crush on the diving coach, and I had a crush on my swim coach. Yeah, probably be coach for me.
Coach. That's
coach.
Good. That's
what
good.
What about you?
It's tough because I think it would depend on like who the partner is. But I would say if I had to pick something right now off the cuff, I would probably have them do some kind of like a True Blood thing. Like either like ditzy shirtless Jason Stackhouse or like tall and brooding Eric Northman, or honestly even a hilarious like Bill Compton. I don't know. It could be anything in the True Blood verse. Yeah, it depends on like their type.
Yeah,
if they look like Jason Stackhouse, though, I'm gonna lean towards the Jason Stackhouse because who wouldn't?
Oh yeah. But yeah, that gives the whole backdrop to the dinner, the last dinner there, and the whole like Danny being so drunk, and again Michelle being like, so like where are you guys gonna live? And then people calling him a bad actor.
That's so mean.
It was really mean.
They were really trying to get under his skin.
That was my only when I came to ranking these individuals and like putting pros and cons, my only con for Danny was that I could tell, I was like, oh, he is an actor, when they were like, oh man, you're just like this guy from Outlander, your Scottish accent sucks. And he was like, well, I'm just doing it right now. Like I didn't prepare.
I know. Well, it's true. And they're calling him out. It's his business and they're calling him out on camera. I feel bad.
And then they were like, no, you're a good actor. And he was like, no, I know I am. I was like, oh.
I love that, though. My little actor-loving heart just feels so bad.
I know.
I'm like, I literally, don't say that about, he's not trying right now. Like, he's really good.
That would, yeah, if you were at the table, you'd be like, well, he's obviously didn't do the work. Okay?
Yeah, we didn't, he would coach with a linguist, okay? Like, obviously. You know nothing. You know nothing about the industry. So, who do you think should be a regular cast member?
I don't know, because I don't know much of the Bravo verse. Like I know.
But who would you see in the show that was like I do think Janet's eels should be cast members, because I think they're petty enough to bring, for at least a season or two. They'll probably bring a bunch of nonsense in.
Let's see.
But they are giving sidekicks, so maybe not.
Well, is the obvious answer Zach, because he's not like main cast?
Zach should be.
Okay.
Let's consider him cast, because I'm offended that he isn't cast.
So yeah, then there's the opening of Jack's.
Yes.
To kind of end
Jax's
the season.
bar, which I've shared my thoughts on. Not a good part.
There was one part where Jesse says, I think he was in a confessional, where he was like saying to Jax, like, you've got to make the changes like I did before it's too late. I was like, the change? What was the change you made? Like, this guy is delusional. And then when they were like, the part where, I mean, it was sad because he started crying, but like when they're like in their room and he's like, I know we could get back to it, like where we were, if you could just start with, hey, you're a great husband and father. Like, if you could just start with a compliment for me, I know that we could get back to being good.
Yeah, after he literally called her like an alcoholic and like in front of all their friends and on camera, like then asking her to start the conversation with a compliment to him.
Yeah. And then him being like, well, when they come back 6 months later and they're like separated and he's like, I didn't go to therapy. It was really far.
Yeah, I made the appointment last week, but I didn't end up going because it was too far.
It was really far. They're like, were you scared? He's like, yeah, it was also far. And then he's like, he's like yelling at her, being like, what do you want from me? Like, what do you want from me? And then it cuts to a confessional of him being like, I'm waving the white flag, surrendering, saying that you're right. I was like, that's not what you're doing, actually.
Like, literally the opposite. You're like pretending that you've no idea what she wants, which is so rude.
And that's how it ends. There's just like a little sad montage of their relationship.
Right. And then we get that cool episode after where we also see that Michelle and Jesse are filing for divorce. And then he's like, they're fighting over, they're like splitting their contacts at work and their clients. And now he wants to get a mediator involved. And she's like, just sign the papers. And he's like, no, I'm getting a mediator. He's going to stretch it out even longer.
Yeah. So they've got like I said, they got a 12-hour home video if their kid ever asks.
What happened?
What went wrong?
Mom, what went wrong? That kid is going to have a lot to battle living in LA.
I feel the worst about these kids. I'm just like, these poor kids. I don't know. I'm glad that they're not really that much a part of the show. Like they make a good point to not have them on camera too much.
Right. It's like the back of their head or them eating a snack or them asking for something and then we cut away. It's not like a real pony show.
Yeah, they're not. It's not like, right, Isabella? Okay, now tell the camera what you did at school
Isabella,
today.
go tell your daddy that I hate him.
Yeah, right. I mean, I would not put past either.
No, I could see
either of them.
Michelle and Jesse are the type of parents that this is so bad. This is so horrible. Okay, if out of all the cast, I would pick Michelle and Jesse to be the most toxic divorcees that like tell their kid their side of the story to win their affection over, especially Jesse. I could see Jesse doing that. Be like, well, your mom. We have evidence of it when he's like excited. He's excited for her to mess up so he can tell their kid. So
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah.
going into the new season, I think we should rank our favorite cast members from least to most favorite.
So number 12, I have Jesse.
Ooh, I have Jason.
It was tough. It was a tough match between him and number 11, but yeah, he's just maybe the worst person, one of the worst people I've ever seen on television.
My choice of Jason being 12th is because from a Bravoholic and a reality TV fan standpoint, Jason is Wonder Bread. Like he's throwing in a little question jab here and there, and he's being a sounding board for bigger characters, but he's not fueling fire. He's actually kind of diminishing fire. He's extinguishing fire. And
he's the peacemaker,
right.
quote unquote.
He's like a wet blanket, and he's vanilla. He's just not literally vanilla sex preference. Like he's just so boring and ugh. And I think if he wasn't there, Janet would be off a leash and she'd be crazy. And so that's why Jason is my least favorite.
That's totally fair. I think I was going off of more of like a character with a little bit of like what they bring to the show. And you're very much like, who's good TV?
Yeah, same. So okay, I probably can.
That's why I'm a Hufflepuff and you're a Slytherin.
Listen, we're here for what we're here for. Okay.
It's great. Yeah.
Okay, so who's your 11?
My 11th is Jax.
My 11 is Jesse.
Yeah, for me, I said Jax because, again, it was a tough decision between who's the worst man, husband, father I've seen on television. It was between Jesse and Jax, but I put Jax ahead because I thought he offered more in terms of television.
Good. That's good. I put Jesse here because he is undeniably like a really bad person, and he's a bad father, a bad partner, and he picked on Danny, and so that really sunk his ship. Really sunk his ship. Okay.
Yeah, great. Who's your number 10?
My number 10 is Michelle.
Mine's Janet.
Oh, mine's Michelle because Michelle, she chose Jesse as a life partner. So she's obviously like really messed up. And 2, she tried to stir the pot and create drama for Danny and Nia with the whole Santa Clarita like house thing. And 3, like I think she's not the greatest mother. Like I know she probably is exhausted and had to raise that whole kid herself, but like bringing the child to the scene she shot with him in that last episode that we see on Peacock, and like just leaving her kid to go eat in the kitchen within earshot of all the things she's saying to Jesse was like giving a lifetime of fucking up her kid, and it was really icky.
That's a lot of this show. When they kept on like cutting back to the kid eating out of the room, I'm like, oh, don't show us that the kid is hearing all this. Yeah, they're young, but like kids pick up a lot more than you think.
Oh, yeah.
Like, these kids are going to be fucked up. And it's really
just
sad.
Look at it like it's a docuseries, and like we're studying. It's a human study. Okay.
I chose Janet because, she just like wouldn't own up to anything she was doing. It was stirring the pot. I really didn't like that she put Zach on the speakerphone with her gay minions listening. That was so shitty.
And she abandons scenes a lot.
Yeah, and like
she doesn't stay, she doesn't fight. She goes, "I'm leaving," and she leaves. And Janet, literally, Jason at Jax's bar was like, "Janet, it's me, Jason. Janet, it's me, Jason. Like, stop, it's me." I'm like, as if she doesn't know her husband's voice. It was so weird.
Yeah, she was shitty at Jax's opening too. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of hers.
I get it. I totally get it. Well, next on my list is probably going to be a bit of a surprise.
Yeah,
it's
what?
It's
Number
Jasmine.
Really? Okay, mine's Michelle. Kind of for all the reasons you said. So why is it Jasmine?
I don't think Jasmine brought a lot to the table. I think the couple solo scenes that she had with like Jax and stuff, like it didn't feel like she was friends with the group. I don't think she showed a lot of her personality or like really anything. I didn't learn anything about her. And it was just like kind of a letdown because she's an interesting person. She was on The Bachelor. Like I kind of wanted to learn. I wanted to see into her world more. And she's bi, which I thought was a really fun character thing to be on the show. We've had bi people before on Vanderpump with like Dana and even Katie and stuff. But like Jasmine didn't give us anything.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, she also like kind of bothered me when I don't know, I feel like she was pretty biased in her opinions too when it came to Kristen and that whole situation when like she was closer with Janet and I'm like, Janet doesn't really like you.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're defending her.
It was weird. It's weird. Okay. Number 8.
I put Jason. This is when I was like, he's of the couples, I don't know. I guess he's on this list because I didn't think much of him. And so that's like the least problematic position, I guess. This is the beginning of now I'm starting to like these people.
Okay, great. Me too. This is the last of like kind of my problematic people. And it's Janet. Janet. but I also like, this is a point of like turning. I love that Janet's there. It's not like I don't want Janet on the show. I just want Janet to stay in a scene. I want her to do these things, and then I want her to face the people. I don't want her to keep getting up and running away, getting up and driving to Big Bear, getting up and not inviting people to things. Like, you can't be on this show and cause this drama and then not be in the drama, you dumb whore.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, the fact that she's like, I'm actually done with this, like with the whole Kristen thing. She's like, I'm done talking about it. But then, oh my God, my favorite was in Big Bear when she was like, okay, we're going to have a jar. And if you say anything or talk any shit, you have to put $20 in the jar. And then whoever's talks shit the least will get the money at the end. And then they go on the boat with all the girls. And she's like, okay, girls, so. And like, and then immediately talks shit.
Yeah. Put $20 in the jar, Janet. She just wanted to take their money.
Yeah.
Greedy. Okay. What's the next number?
I think it's number 7. Yeah, number 7.
Okay.
This is where I have Jasmine.
Okay, you like Jasmine.
I like her. I agree. I didn't learn much about her, but what I did see, I at least thought she was funny, and I thought she was, to me, she and Zach, I feel like, were the voices of reason. They were looking to the audience being like, did you just see what I just saw? Because that was fucking stupid. And I like that. And I like that she and Zach were the outside ones being like, these people need to not be together.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Hopefully she becomes a more prominent voice of reason.
And I want to see her. I want to see her relationship.
Yeah, that's something we'll talk about what we hope for the next season. But
okay.
I hope that her girlfriend and her on the show. That'd be really cool. Okay, in my position, I have Brittany.
Okay.
Because Brittany's great. I think Brittany, her story is sad, and everyone in America saw it coming the day that Jax flew her in from the Hooters in Kentucky to LA and introduced her to the bar staff at SUR. And they were all like, this poor, sweet girl. Everyone liked her instantly. And like, we're looking at her now 9 years later, and like, she's not happy with her body. She's getting lipo and stuff. She's picking her body apart. She's suffering raising this kid. She wants another kid from this monster.
Right.
And I'm rooting for her.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for her because it's the least that Jax could do is keep her involved in these shows, because it's the fucking least he could do.
Yeah, it's so interesting too, because this is all I know of her, and like you have her history with Vanderpump, where like you know that she's really sweet. They were showing clips of her; she looks like a totally different person.
I know. Well, I feel bad, but your body changes when you have kids, and I also think that she makes a beer cheese, Mima's beer cheese, or I can't even do an accent.
Yeah.
And that's like her recipe, and you can get it at Jax's restaurant. And like, so she definitely, being from Kentucky, like cooks Kentucky food, which is not the healthiest. So I think it's just like a whole combination of factors, you know, that makes her a little bit different looking than what she used to. But she also got like a boob job when she was with Jax. That was part of the show, and like all sorts of stuff because he wanted her to have bigger boobs.
I mean, if I look back at myself,
of course, Jax would be like, "I want you to have bigger boobs. Go get a boob job." Like,
I mean, if I look at pictures of myself from when I first moved to LA, I look like I had 3 kids.
shut up.
You know? So
you look so cute. I shared a bunch of those pictures with you today. I was like, look at there's Thomas and me, early LA days.
Child, yeah.
You're so cute. Okay, next.
My number 5 is number 6 is Zach.
Wait, no, we're counting down. Oh wait, we're on number 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, mine's Luke.
Okay, yeah.
Tell me about Zach.
He's fun. He's a gay, so I have to like him. But the people above him, I just like their vibes more. Well, kind of. Maybe I should have put him higher. I didn't agree with the way he went about some things. Like, I think he should have stood up for Kristen more in that first big Capri dinner. But yeah, I still like him. He's in the upper half.
Great. I agree. He should have stuck up for Kristen more, and they should have put Janet, hung her out to dry. But the choice that he didn't do it almost made the drama go on longer, which makes me still think he's an MVP.
Yeah.
He like just that choice, like triggered Kristen more, triggered everybody way more. He's not being a Jason, and he's not extinguishing the flames. He's dropping gasoline on it and making it worse by just sitting there in silence. He's literally at the table, like looking around like this, and he was like the catalyst of it.
Yeah.
Or not the catalyst, but the secondary catalyst. I don't know. Okay, I chose Luke. I think Luke is a really fresh breath of air on the show. I think he's like the one guy, the fish out of water, the one guy that's not like very LA. And he's somehow like the Kristen Doty whisperer. And I think that Luke is just like, he's also not afraid of confrontation. Like, he goes into this season and goes into his scenes right away, having tough conversations with Jesse, with Jax, with Kristen. He will sit down and he will speak like a sound grounded voice in all of those scenes with those people and like share his perspective. And like, I think that is so impressive for somebody on a show of this caliber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 5, that's where I put Luke, because I don't know. I think you're right. I think he was able to like be confrontational, but still reasonable. He wasn't a pushover, despite people being like, "Who the fuck are you?" So yeah, I like him, and I like that his dog's name is Jill.
Yeah. I like his dog's name is Jill too. And this is where I put Jax.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I put Jax here because I think even though Jax is doing a bad job at self-producing the show, I think that it is like, no matter what Jax does, he stumbles into greatness.
Yeah.
And so even if he fucks up like this, and even if he fucks up blaming Kristen for this Michelle texting other guys rumor, it's still way more multidimensional and juicy now because he fucked it up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's not like if he was actually good at leaking this information and framing people, it actually wouldn't be as good. It's fun to still get to point and laugh at him at the end of the day for being a total moron and thinking he's a narcissist, so he doesn't see it.
Yeah. I feel like he and Jesse, they're at the bottom of my list. They're the ones that I feel, their relationships are the ones that are crumbling. And I do feel bad and sad about it. But I look at them and I'm like, you kind of did this to yourself. Like,
they literally all did it to themselves. And so I don't feel bad.
Yeah.
And they're collecting a paycheck while it crumbles. Yeah. So it's like, honestly, what a privileged place to be in.
Some people just have their lives fall apart and they don't get paid for it. So
Exactly. Every day.
Every day. Happens every day.
All right. Ready? Number 4.
Number 4, I have Kristen.
Why?
Because, I don't know. After talking to my sister, I'm being like, why do people hate her? Like, I don't get why people hate her. And I just thought, I don't know, she was like funny. She was a catalyst of a lot of the drama. And I don't know. I just feel like I like the people who are misunderstood or just like the underdog. I feel like that was very her. And I was like, no, she's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
But this is with my limited knowledge. Apparently, my sister was like, no, she's the worst. Watch Vanderpump. I was like, all right, that's next.
No, we need to. Is this Nancy? Who's
this is Nancy? Yes.
We need to interview Nancy. We need to call her to tell us why Kristen's so bad on Vanderpump, because I stand by that. I think she was just like, wrongfully accused. She's Joan of Arc.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's your number 4?
Danny.
Danny. Ooh, okay.
I love Danny. I think if Nia and Danny's relationship crumbles, I'm going to go marry Danny, because I think Danny is, even though he wants to move her out to Santa Clarita, which is like social suicide.
How far away is that from the valley?
It's like 40 minutes with no traffic.
Yeah.
But you can't come into LA. You're never you go out there with a family. It's the burbs. It has everything you need.
Right.
You're never going to come into LA ever again.
Right.
It's an entirely different life. You might as well move to Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, how Nia sees it. And it's kind of accurate. But Danny being a Valley boy, a child actor, it makes sense that he thinks that he probably grew up in Burbank. Literally, I'd wager a couple $100 on that. And so I think that Santa Clarita is a very akin to Burbank. However, I think they should be considering Burbank and not Santa Clarita. But Santa Clarita, my sister and I drive out there every Halloween. We go look at all their yard displays. It's a beautiful little safe haven of different condo neighborhoods. And yeah, it has everything. So you can live a good life there. You can buy a house for like $1.2 or $1.4 million, and it's going to have a great yard, and it's going to have 4 or 5 bedrooms in it.
Damn. Yeah.
So that's why people go to Santa Clarita. And I just think, I think Danny is like a good, emotionally intelligent human. And I think he listens to his wife, and he cares and loves his wife. And I think that's so refreshing on this show.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Number 3.
My number 3 is Brittany.
Okay.
I love her. I am obsessed with her.
Wait, say why you love Brittany, but say it in Brittany's voice.
I love Brittany because I love her accent, and I love that she just seems super sweet, and I feel for her with her journey, and she's all about her kids. And the moment I loved her the most was when she talked about when she was on a boat with Jax's family, and she pulled her bathing suit to the side and took a shit in the ocean among the stingrays.
You would love that.
I was like, you know what, Brittany? You're all right in my book. You just had to take a shit in the ocean.
And she's like, and now his family knows about it.
And now his family knows, and they just saw this. So sorry, stingrays.
Can you imagine being Jax's family watching the show?
Okay, no.
Can you imagine being Jax's family sitting down and watching him on this show?
And being like, that's our daughter-in-law. Great.
This is how he's treating our daughter-in-law, the mother of our grandchildren.
She shit in the ocean. I thought that was someone's poop floating by when we were on that trip. Yeah. So that really endeared me to her.
My number 3 is Nia.
Okay.
Ex-beauty queen, gone, black belt, okay?
So cool. Very
self-empowered, raising 3 children under 2 with class and being stunning at the same time. Mm-hmm. She's sensitive and sweet, and she's caring. And she also is like she's also a great little person to have in the mix for these reality shows, because you see at Jax's bar how she's encouraging Zach to go talk to Janet. in the corner. There's like this little moment. It's 3 seconds in the episode, but she's over there like supporting Zach and telling him that he just needs to go and talk to Janet because they were friends. And like, you need these kinds of people in the mix on these shows because they keep people together and they keep them motivated to doing these like hard scenes with each other. Because telling Zach to go talk to Janet after what we saw in the season is not an easy thing to do. Mm-hmm. For someone like Zach to go talk to someone like Janet, who's untouchable because she's pregnant.
Yeah, Janet from another planet. Yeah.
Janet.
Yeah. I love her. You'll see how much
Who's
I love her in a moment.
Who's your okay.
My number 2 is Danny. I just love all the things you said. He and my number 1 are, as far as I'm concerned, the only emotionally intelligent people on this show. And he's a good husband. I feel like I need to watch iCarly now just for him. He's a good father. He said the way I feel about apologies, and that got me. So yeah, I just love him.
That's so sweet. Okay, and then
who's your number 2?
Yeah, number 2. It's Kristen.
Oh my God. Okay.
We need Kristen. I mean, she is very powerful. She's done this for a long time. I think we've learned watching her in this season that she is not going to change from the standpoint of she's reactive and it makes great television. And she's I think the most valuable legacy character from Vanderpump Rules to be on the show. And I think it's hilarious that after she was canceled for racism, she wanted to beat her cast members to the punch and call somebody else a racist first.
Yeah.
Because then if she did that, like, this is my background thought. I do think that Janet said that to her. But I do think she had it so fresh and ready to go in her mind because she realized if I say that Janet called Michelle a racist first, then if anyone turns around and calls me a racist, it's just going to look like they're copying something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's choices like that. And it's like reactions and the way she reacts to people like Janet that make me feel like she's in the right place and she deserves to be in the top 3.
It's beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to share your number 1?
Yeah, my number 1 is Miss USA herself, Nia Vasquez.
Oh.
Yep, I just love that she was only one of the only people, actually maybe the only person at that Capri dinner that was like, guys, like was like standing up for Kristen, like at the table, not that loudly, but like she was trying. And she has the best hair colorist. Her highlights are the best. And yeah, I think she's a great mom. She's just all around.
Oh my God, there's a thunderstorm coming. Lightning just struck.
Really?
It never thunderstorms here.
Wait, that's fine.
And I'm like, damn, I gotta take these dogs out.
Okay, Nia's my favorite. Okay.
Pretty good. Okay, so where were we? We were I was announcing my number 1 pick. Okay. Drum roll. It's Zach. Not even a real cast member, but my top choice, my MVP, my favorite pick for season 1 of The Valley is Zach. I think he's got so much potential. He's bringing a new boyfriend, Alan, into the show this new season. So I'm excited to see his boyfriend. What? His name was Alan. Or maybe he got rid of one and got a new one. Well, I guess we'll find out. I mean, it does say Benji when you search it. AI says Benji, but I swear I thought they said his name was Alan on a preview.
Well,
Anyway, I think Zach brought emotion, he brought fire, he brought gasoline, and for not even being in a couple, like the couples were kind of painted as like who we're following, but Zach, I think, solidified a place for himself on the show, being integral to the things that were going down. So before we say our hopes for the new season, I want us to watch the trailer for season 2. Me either. Okay, great. This is really good.
This season on the Valley.
Hey, baby.
Yeah. What the?
Will you be catching my lifetime?
We knew we knew who's gonna
I
propose.
thought Kristen and Luke have the best relationship out of all.
Jax has been seeing people. He had a girl staying here at the house again last night. There is a thong on my bathroom sink. Yeah, it's like, why was there a baby wipe on top of it?
She
A
wiped her
thong
vagina
and
it's
a
on
baby
your
wipe.
counter.
The new Moby Dick for Brittany.
$20 to start this was on.
Luke probably sniffs everything.
You're mean to my friend. I think you're toxic. I think you're a narcissist. And I'm happy I don't have to deal
Oh my
with
God,
you.
there's Lala telling him Jesse
So
off.
thank you for that.
Scrotox.
Let's freaking shoot your balls up.
Oh my God.
Hi. Mr. Cochio, you've been served.
You've been
I already told
served.
him. Filing, restraining order, and custody.
I'm at the point where I'm so in love with the man I want to become that I'm just not satisfied with who I am.
I'm so in love with the man I want to become.
Michelle admitted that she cheated on me.
I have evidence that she's sleeping with a billionaire.
Oh my God, Michelle's making out with another man in Hawaii.
You. When Jason goes out, he takes his wedding ring off.
There's been background of Danny getting wasted and pansy and inappropriate.
Shut up! No, Danny! Pansy and inappropriate, that's bullshit.
Well, that's what I wanted to be. That's what comforts me.
Oh my God, so you gave him butt boobs.
Give
They're
parent
obsessed.
energy, and I'm done with it.
My husband's not the one out here grabbing asses.
No, they're coming for Danny and Mia. No, I hate them. Literally, they better quit the show.
She's a hooker, so it's fine.
I'm the mother of your child.
This is why I feel crazy 24/7. I've never blacked out and hurt my friends.
I can't take it. I want to scream.
I don't know what I come from. We had to get cans out of trash cans to pay rent. I had to sleep in my car at the parking lot where I work.
He has people watching me.
I'm going through so much. My husband's in rehab.
You have to attack me because you're going through something.
Michelle and I are the most sane people in this whole house right now.
Oh my, shut up, Jesse. Shut up.
For me, that's all I want, Kristen.
The reason it's crazy Kristen, not crazy Janet.
I'm done with them.
Don't make me knock your ass out.
Knock me out.
You're a fan, bitch.
I was terrible husband. Good father, great father. Terrible husband.
Yeah.
Okay, what, I'm a terrible husband, a great father, but how can you be a great father and a terrible husband? Tell me how that happens. Oh my God. I hated seeing Danny and Nia being picked at like that. I hated that. But if Danny wants to be handsy, I volunteer as tribute. I volunteer as tribute. A volunteer's tribute. Oh my God, I hope they get through it. I hope low key that this is something they literally masterminded, because I can't bear it. I can hardly bear it. Okay, well, let's talk about what we saw here. Brittany finds a thong. That's disgusting. It's disgusting. Mm-hmm. A used pad? That's disgusting. I'm sorry that you had to touch that. Right. Probably because they emptied their bathroom trash in the kitchen and didn't take the trash out. Children. children. Yeah. Yeah. They're like, I'm just going to dump it in here and Thomas can take the trash out. He's gay. That's how it is, right? No, not always. It's such a slice of life thing to do, though. That's so like girls. It's so coded. It's so girls coded. Probably thought you were cute. Okay, what else did we see in that trailer? I hated that they were coming. All I can think about is the Danny and Nia stuff. It's bothering me. And Jesse being, Jesse's going to be the most smug asshole all season. Like, Michelle and I are doing great. And then she throws a drink in his face. Oh my God. I didn't catch that. That is, I told you, slot 12, Jason, you are trash. And what do you think that girl that slept with Jason left her thong and a baby wipe on the counter as a sign to Brittany that she was there to cause trouble? Or do you think the producers planted it? Or did Jax plant it? Isn't that infuriating? It's really, really frustrating. That's exciting. And honestly, the girls look hot in this freeze frame I've got open of them at like a pool party. Michelle looks teensy tiny. Oh wait, it's a new Moby Dick for Brittany. Is the theme of this divorce? Is this a divorcee party they're having for Brittany? Because Zach is saying it's a new Moby Dick for Brittany, and they're toasting. Oh. I wouldn't want to do a whale themed like divorcee party. That would make me feel insecure. He did. Let's see. Hold on. Let me find a still. I love how Jackson, every single scene we see him in, is wearing his stupid hat from the bar. I'm like wondering. I love that Michelle is screaming at Jesse. They're all wearing hats. I can't even find them without a hat. Oh my God. I hope that, what the hell is this? Oh, I see the haircut. It is a good haircut. I mean, he makes good money. There's no excuse to have bad hair. I freeze framed on this Jax. Look at how scary he looks. Okay. He looks like he's on cocaine in this. And I'm not just saying that. Look, he's wearing a all white suit like Mr. Miami over here. Why does he, without a mustache? There's gotta be. No, he was a model and I don't think he had a mustache. I think the mustache is new. Where are the early seasons of Jax? Okay, it was stubble. He's done a lot, but here he is like in Vanderpump Prime. So, yeah, no, he's genetically blessed. I mean, these days, he's not my flavor, but when he was like season 1 Jax. But they were together the first couple seasons. Look, here is early Brittany. I know. And look how great her boobs look there. How dare he make her get a boob job? How dare he? I hope that the opening credit sequence is really good because now all the couples have split up. I'm hoping they come up with a really and the first opening credits for the first season were like them in their quintessential front yards, like mowing the lawn, taking out the garbage, like kind of sitcom-y. I kind of hope that they take it a step further, and now that half of them are divorced, like maybe the opening credit for like Michelle and Jesse is like Michelle throwing all of his shit on the lawn, and then their credits, like that would be really funny. I obviously need Zach to be a full-fledged cast member. I think it's insulting, and I really don't know anything about his partner, like not even his name,
right.
But I hope that his current boyfriend is just as messy, if not more, because I would love for his boyfriend to be like some WeHo twink that causes lots of drama. That would be really good for us. And the representation too, like Zach is reactionary, kind of like Kristen. I need a twink that lights a match. And then we're really representing more of the gay community on the show. So I would love for that. I definitely want to meet Jasmine's girlfriend and like see more into their world. Ideally, they're toxic. We need to leave Danny and Nia alone. I'm not excited to see Jax do like his sober episodes where he's like, just really boring now that I don't do coke and like don't drink. I just like can't have anything like that. I am there for Michelle being like fully unraveled and triggered by Jesse though. Like I think seeing her throw a drink in his face in the trailer, I hope that's like the tip of the iceberg. And I hope there's way less children present. Oh, so that's good. That's really good. I'm wondering what Janet and Jason's relationship is going to be like with the baby, and I low-key feel like Janet is going to be making Jason do everything, and maybe that's why like Jason is like acting out and going out without his ring on. Like I wonder if these are rumors, like people like saying more rumors, or if it's like someone saw him out without his ring. That's so shady. It's so shady. Oh my God. And then who's slipping through the cracks here? Brittany. Brittany is supposedly was like dating a guy that was on The Bachelor for a minute. And it was supposed to be like going really well. That was through the rumor mill what I heard. So I would love to see like another Bachelor crossover. Maybe Jasmine knows this person, so it's like another kind of like storyline in. Maybe he shows up to an event or two and triggers Jax. That would be great. We did see some Vanderpump members in that trailer. We saw Sheena, we saw Lala, and we saw Tom Schwartz. So I expect we'll see more of them on the show. Okay, great. Well, this was a lot. This is like, I think, the longest episode of Bravoholics Anonymous we've had yet. And I'm really grateful that you had your tonsils out and had time to watch the show. I really hope that if you watch season 2 that you'll come back and talk about episodes with me. Okay, great. Well, thanks for coming out today, Thomas. Oh, you're the best. Okay, well, have a great night, and we'll see you soon. I want to thank my special guest, Thomas Norman, for coming back out and talking everything Season 1 The Valley with me. Until next week, keep your champagne cold and your taglines iconic.